I don't remember ever seeing this kind of activity on Yogi Bear. Now grab your tickets, because we're getting to the theater. Welcome to Getting to the Theater. I'm Adam.
I'm Erica.
I'm Blair.
I'm Sammie.
Welcome to the show, guys.
Yeah, it's your first time.
Yeah,
First time we've been to the house in a while.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
This week we're talking about Cocaine Bear from 2023.
I mean, you're not wrong. It is.
I'm not.
2000.
That's not how I wanted to word it. I say it how I want to say it.
Yeah.
2023. This was Blair's pick.
Yeah.
Blair, give us a brief synopsis of this movie that the title doesn't already tell us.
Well, basically, the movie is based off of real-life events where a black bear in the Appalachian Mountains between Tennessee and Georgia had consumed a massive amount of cocaine. And unlike the movie, though, the bear basically lived roughly like 25, 30 minutes or so before it ultimately died of a massive heart attack. But for that time period, it was the most dangerous predator on the planet.
That sounds so
And then
great.
they just took that premise and like, hey, what if we had fun with this? And then between
What if the bear
really good
survived?
writing and a lot of gore, but it was a really fun, exciting movie.
I had fun with this movie too. I really liked it.
Surprisingly, I also had a lot of fun with this movie.
It was funny. Did it make a lot of sense?
Not at all.
No, no, not at all.
Yeah, they didn't know what they were making, and they had a good time making it. And the best part was like most of the jokes like hit.
Yeah,
every
they
single
all
time.
landed.
And I was like, this is fantastic. I love this movie.
Yeah, there weren't a lot of jokes in this movie that were just like a hard thud for me.
Yeah.
Most of them I at least had some kind of laugh.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the cast in this movie.
Right.
It was directed by Elizabeth Banks, by the way. I didn't check to see if this was her first directorial movie or role, but we got the late, great Ray Liotta.
R.I.P.
One of his last film roles. I think it came out right after he died.
No, right. 2022 was when this one came out.
No, this came out in 2030.
This came out in 23. I think he died in 22.
Oh.
So yeah, it came out right after he died. We got, is it O'Shea Jackson Jr.?
O'Shea
right.
Jackson Jr.
Which-
Little Ice Cube.
Baby Ice Cube.
As soon as he showed up, I'm like, I know that.
Yeah, we're sitting there watching the movie. She's like, that's got to be Ice Cube's boy. I'm like, well, it does look exactly like him.
That boy looks just like his
So
daddy.
we were in the middle of watching the movie, and she's, it is Ice Cube's son. I'm
I
like,
was
well, yeah, it
right.
looks just like him.
I was right.
He's playing David, who works for Ray Liotta. Ray Liotta, by the way, is Sid White. He's a known drug trafficker. Sid's son, Eddie, is played by, I don't know how to pronounce this man's name,
Is it Alrin?
I think it's Alden Einrich.
Yeah.
Alden Eyrick, who most people in our friend group would know from Solo,
The titular Solo.
playing
Beautiful
a young Han
Creatures.
Solo.
That's where I knew him from.
From Beautiful Creatures?
You remember the
Yeah,
love interest
that-
that was boring as hell?
That movie was so bad, though.
It makes me sad because the book series was so good, but then the movie was just.
It was not great.
I never saw that one.
You're not missing
haven't seen it
anything.
either.
They wasted Emmy Rossum.
Yeah, the whole
They
time I
wasted
watched
her
it,
so
Sam was like,
badly.
is he from Beautiful Creatures? Like, I don't know. Never seen it. Can't help you.
Which is funny because I recognized him from Beautiful Creatures before I recognized him from Solo, and I was like, that's him. That's him from Solo too. Yeah.
Well, he was probably my favorite character after a while. At first, he's kind of mopey, but he does give me some of my hardest laughs.
7 Days of John, baby.
Can I pick up his fingers? I'm just going to put them in my pocket. We also have Margot Martindale. She's the park ranger. Park Ranger
Sassy,
Liz.
older
She was getting on my whole nerves.
No, but she's great and everything.
She was a subpar Ranger Smith.
I'll say, Park Ranger shoots with eyes closed.
Yes.
No, but I was just
We'll get
like,
to
look at
that.
this Thomas from Pocahontas shooting going on here.
She was so bad.
She was funny, though. She was funny.
Oh, she was a
She's
great
always
character.
good.
We have Jesse Taylor Ferguson.
Did not recognize him when he came on
Oh
screen.
my gosh.
They ruined that
man. He was on Modern Family.
Right.
Yeah.
I haven't watched that show, so I don't know his character's name on there. He
plays Peter.
He's Peter.
He plays Peter in this film, yes.
Is he like
I was trying to think of the actor who plays his father on Modern Family, who played Al Bundy on Married with Kids.
Ah.
Ed O'Neill. He's Ed O'Neill's son.
I just hope they paid him extra for the wig he wore. Me and
Oh,
Sam
He looked
had
so
to.
bad.
It was like, what is that wig?
When he popped up on screen, I was like, this guy looks familiar, but I don't know who he is.
I didn't recognize him at
He
first
also- I
until
believe they
she's
also
like,
gave
oh,
him,
that's
a
him. I'm
belly
like,
and stuff too, because he's normally really trim.
Oh, you think they gave him a little paunch?
I think they did.
Okay.
I really do think they
here,
did.
eat this burger. Eat another burger.
No.
He had a bad wig on
Yeah,
in this
he
movie.
did.
But
It was
if-
aw-
His little bit of screen time, though, he was good.
yeah,
It
was.
fits the time period, though, because it is
Oh, absolutely.
1985.
Absolutely.
That's right.
That explains where Trump got his wig.
Oh, God.
Wow.
That's what it looks like.
No, this wig looks better. We also have,
Gary Russell.
yes, Carrie Russell. She plays Sari. She's a nurse. She spends 90% of this film looking for her daughter, Dee Dee, and Henry,
I love Henry.
the two children who are new actors.
Actually, Henry's from Sweet Tooth from Netflix.
I've never seen. I've never seen.
I've never seen it.
I've never seen it. I've never seen Sweet Tooth.
Is that the one with Jason Momoa?
I believe so. Yeah,
Okay.
Okay.
it's like the little boy with the antlers.
Yeah.
Oh, like a little fairy tale thing. It gave
Why are
me
you
strong.
Harry Pottery?
What's the little cartoon with the boy on his magic bed?
Little Nemo?
It reminded me of Little Nemo when I saw the trailer for it. If it's the one I'm thinking of with Jason Momoa.
No, that's a different one.
Oh, okay. Maybe it
Oh, okay.
wasn't Jason Momoa.
There's a
in Sweet
different
Tooth.
one. I think Jason Momoa is in Sweet Tooth though. Let me look that up.
Okay. Then we that's Christian Convery
Sure.
and Brooklyn Prince play the two children. We have Christopher
Highview.
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 Is that
That's
is
how you
that-
say it?
The J is silent.
Okay.
Yeah, he's
Um,
from Game of Thrones.
Where's the big lady?
Yeah. I do not remember that character's name either.
Tormund, Giant Spade.
Yes, thank you.
He was fantastic in this.
He was really good on that. He was funny in this
Yeah.
for his little bit of screen time he had.
Elsa.
We
We would have had a son
we were going to name him
named
Texas.
Texas.
That's
That's
a
a
state,
state.
That was funny.
Yeah, it was.
We would have named him Texas.
I like when he reaches in and gets the little cornflake out and eats it. It's like, I'll show you.
Oh, I thought those were oyster crackers.
No.
Oh, okay.
Little corn-
You
Yeah,
just-
that whole scene was just too stupid as hell.
but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But
Different movie entirely.
Oh,
with
okay.
not Jason Momoa.
okay. So this movie begins with an airplane and a man in that plane having himself a good old time.
He was
yeah,
having a ball
He's
in
having
that
the
plane.
best time of his life.
Best movie with Jason Momoa. Slumberland.
So the man in the plane, we find out, is Andrew Thornton, who is a real life person.
Is he the original cause, the real cause of Cocaine Bear?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
In
Which
real
is-
life, the way they play it out in the movie is almost exactly how it happened in real life, except for in real life, he got tangled up in his parachute and fell to his death, free falling. In this scene, it's far funnier.
Which is funny because he's played by Matthew, I think it's Matthew Reese, I believe. And that's Carrie Russell's husband.
Oh.
Is it really?
It is. And you know what's really sad about that? I didn't recognize him at first. I was like, I know he sounds familiar. He's Bellows from frickin' Owl House.
You know I haven't seen Owl House.
You gotta watch it, girl. It's so good.
I don't even know what that is.
Owl House.
It's a new
It's
cartoon.
gay.
If you like Gravity Falls, you'll like Owl House.
Oh, it's a cartoon.
Yeah,
Alex
it
Hirsch
is.
in
Okay.
it. Alex
It's not bad.
Hirsch
It's got
is
some
in
good
there.
humor.
So he's the one in the plane. He's the only one in the plane. It's on autopilot. And he is dumping these red rainbow-handled bags of cocaine out of the plane. And he's dancing. He's listening to some old 80s music. He's got a bulletproof vest on.
Which is weird. Why? Does he expect to get shot
I mean, he's a drug
in the
smuggler.
plane?
Yeah.
When he gets down on the ground, he doesn't know what he might do.
Yeah, Buzzy.
So cool thing about Andrew Thornton, he actually used to be a narcotics investigator.
And a
Before
lawyer.
he started running drugs for Sid. And
He knew what he
them.
was getting himself
Oh
into.
my
Yeah.
In real life.
Which
This
is
is the
really
real
funny.
guy.
Yeah, the real guy, like the legit guy.
Okay.
Who- This is probably the only real character in the film. But in our movie, when he's up on the plane, he makes the Tony Montana mistake of getting high on his own supply. He's doing bumps of cocaine. Each bag, I think they say, is worth about $15 million.
It is the 80s. Everyone was doing bunts of
It is.
cocaine.
And there's a lot of bags in this plane. And he's just throwing them out, and he's getting the parachutes on, and he's about to jump out of the plane. And he slips, and he smacks his head on the top of the doorway, falls back, and then slides out of the plane. And then we cut to, what's it, Elsa and Olaf?
Yeah, wait, can we circle back real fast? Why was he throwing the bags out of the plane?
He's smuggling them.
He's going to go collect them.
How does he know where they land? Does he have like a tracker on them?
Well, he's throwing
Honestly,
them
if
over
you
the
think
national
about
forest.
where they're going, how the plane is flying and stuff, as long as he goes in like a relatively straight line.
Not to mention,
And
he's
then-
throwing up, like, the national forest is huge. It's
Yeah.
massive. So if he's trying to, smuggle drugs and do it relatively unseen in the 80s, that's a good spot to do it
Also,
in.
Sid brings it up later that they're supposed to drop them off at Blood Peak. And
Blood
he was-
Mountain.
Yeah, Blood Mountain. And then he was supposed to be basically dropping them down the mountain. So as you're walking towards it,
Okay.
And
Yeah,
then
he's not on a jet aircraft. It's all propeller based, so he's not moving that fast.
Also,
Yeah.
I don't believe he dumped everything out of the plane either.
I don't think so either.
So if the plane crashed, you have basically a little trail leading up to wherever the coke landed in the plane.
Okay.
So we also get that opening text right after this
Yeah.
about black bears are not territorial. They don't usually mess with people, but they're one of the bears you shouldn't run from. You should just fight them.
Right.
Which is funny because it's a Wikipedia.
Yeah, it's like sourced by Wikipedia. I'm like,
Yeah, that was the funny part. Sourced by Wikipedia.
What does Wikipedia know?
So Olaf, she also calls him Christopher
Yeah.
at one point. Olaf and Elsa.
You think that was an intentional naming convention?
Well, isn't that the two characters from Frozen?
Yeah.
Then yes.
yes.
Okay.
I absolutely think that.
No, this whole movie they're taking a piss at everything else. They knew what they were
Okay.
doing.
Oh, this
Okay.
movie's taking the piss out of everything.
We're having a great time. We know what we're here for.
Yeah. So they seem to be world travelers because they have many stickers on their backpacks from different countries.
That's right.
They are just hanging out down by the river. They're having a good time.
It's like a couple weeks before their wedding.
Yeah, because they're talking about the wedding, and Elsa has that thing about. Can I talk about one more thing about the wedding, and then I'm not going to talk about it anymore?
That's fine.
He's like, of course. And she says, the music. He goes, what's
Yeah.
wrong with the music? You said that's the one thing I could pick, and I did.
It's like your brother's shit.
Yes,
Yeah.
and he
I had-
was so offended by that.
I had a good laugh at that. It's like, can we get someone else? No, my brother's a good musician. It's like, your
even
brother's
takes-
music is shit.
He
Like,
even takes vocal lessons.
Oh.
Yeah.
And he's got these hoochie daddy shorts on.
It's the 80s.
I know.
We need to
I
bring
don't-
that back.
I'm not complaining.
No.
Christopher was rocking it though. He was
Oh,
doing
yeah.
such a good job.
Christopher was
but then,
killing it.
I like immediately after that, they were just saying like, oh, it'll be another 4 to 3 hours till we get to the peak. And literally the next scene, like, here we are. Like,
This movie does not waste any fucking
Yeah.
time. It is quick to the point.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of fat on this movie, which is what I like.
Yeah.
When you suggested it, I was like, let me look this up. Looked it up. 90 minutes. Hell yeah.
Yeah, when you said me, it was like, oh, that's not long at all. I'm like, yeah, it's supposed to be a pretty simple, short movie.
Love that. And again, I had a good time watching this film.
Mm-hmm.
Cocaine free. They are on this mountaintop and they're looking out and it's so beautiful and picturesque. Olaf pulls out his camera and he's looking around and what do we see? Oh, there's a little bear.
Yeah.
And this
A
bear,
little bear?
A little bear.
I mean, it looks a little in the distance.
And this little bear is just rubbing herself, we find out, up against a tree. And then suddenly she starts headbutting the tree really hard, just smacking her face against it. And he goes, bear's deranged. She goes, that bear's not deranged. Let me see the camera. And she goes to look and it's gone.
Well, first the bear, like, it went from, like, beating its skull against the damn tree to, like, doing something really cute. He says something to her and then looks back through the lens and then the bear's gone. That's when it's like, where'd the bear go? And all of a sudden it's like, hey, what's up? Like, oh, shit.
It pops up feet away from them, just giving them a death stare.
But like, I like that they have this like really great moment before the bear pops up. She like slaps him. She's like, "Wow, we have really great luck with nature."
Yes.
No, but the places is like, oh, we saw the whales and da da da.
Yeah.
That's where the whales live. What was that?
We saw the whales in Iceland. We're seeing bears in the fucking forest. Like, well, yes, but the bears live at. The
bears
You're
are
going to
there.
see them here.
It's like we're in the ocean. Shit, there's fish.
Oh, but I do like, he said to Legs, like, we'll see, if it's brown, lie down. If it's black, fight back. It's like, okay, we got to stand our ground.
Yeah, he says
she
whatever you-
fucking books it.
But he said
color
he
is it?
tries to say, whatever you do,
Don't
run. And she takes
she
off.
hauls ass like, no. And then he's like, wait, run, Elsa, run.
But it's also like really funny too because she's like, "I can't tell, is it brown or is it black?" She's like, "It looks really brown to me."
Which is actually fucked up because they have it's a variety of black bear called cinnamon bears.
Oh,
and
no.
they have brown coats, but they also have that little cute little muzzle color they have. That grizzlies don't have that at all. But cinnamon bears get the same size shape as black bears do. They're just like kind of like the difference between a black lab and a brown lab. That's about it. I'll say it's the same animal, it's just different hair color.
But do they have the temperament of a grizzly bear?
No.
Okay.
Like all black bears have basically the same temperament. If you want to think of them as anything, black bears are just sized up raccoons. That's all they are.
Oh, okay.
They're just like bears running raccoon software.
They're just big trash pandas.
Basically, yeah, that's
Which
what a
is why
black
they
bear
break
is.
into cars and they break into houses.
Awesome,
Because
I love
they're
it.
a-holes.
So they're running, and Olaf trips down this hill, and this saves his life.
Yeah.
Because
Temporarily.
Elsa stops and turns back at him, and this bear just tackles her.
Yeah.
And drags her behind this bush, and she like crawls out, and Olaf is just like frozen. And he reaches out at one point
Is he
to try to grab
frozen?
her hand. What'd you say, Sam?
Is he frozen?
Thank you for making that joke. It was necessary.
All right, you can leave now. Thanks for coming by. We'll do the rest of this without you.
All right, thank you for having us. Goodbye.
I got it.
Bye.
Okay.
No, Blair, you can
I
stay.
won half of it.
So he's frozen there, looking on in this horror, and it drags her back behind the bush after she got a little bit away from it, and he's screaming, and it just throws her leg out.
At this point, though, he could have been gone. Had it been me. Sorry, babe.
I mean,
I would have been gone.
to remind you, she was pregnant with his child. So
Was she pregnant?
I didn't get that impression.
She's not pregnant.
But
Yeah.
they're talking about having a child and naming it Texas.
Yeah.
No, but he was
Yeah.
saying like after the wedding, when we have a
I-
child, when
I
we-
assume-
I want to have
I took
babies
that as
with
she
you.
was pregnant, and he was like losing his shit because he just lost like both his wife and his unborn baby.
No,
No.
because Sari asked him later on, are you a father? He goes, no, but I would have been after the wedding.
I got you.
We would have named him Texas. So
All right, thank you for clarifying.
Yeah.
I thought she was pregnant when that happened.
I had a moment in the movie that confused me too later on with Sari's schedule. It threw me off for a second. Because there's not a lot of time.
Yeah.
Most of this movie takes place over the course of,
Like 36 hours.
a solid 36 hours. So we go to... Oh, we also forgot to mention, this is Chattahoochee, Georgia,
Yes.
1985.
You know, the 80s. You were there.
I was there for a little bit.
like a year.
Not even. Like a week.
9 days.
An extended holiday.
It still
A
counts.
little over a week in the 80s.
I was, extended holiday, I'd say, yeah. So we cut to a brain on drugs ad, that one where they fry the egg.
God,
Yeah.
This is your brain on drugs. And it cuts to Paul Rubens dressed as Pee Wee Herman. He's got a little container of drugs, which I'm
R.I.P.
sure he brought from home.
Don't smoke quack. Yeah,
It's not
I remember all of those.
Then we cut to everyone's favorite Nancy Reagan.
I hope she's burning in hell.
And then we cut
Oh,
to
yeah.
this third person who I don't know, but he looked familiar.
Yeah.
I didn't look it up. But he's like, smoking crack is like putting a loaded gun in your mouth.
Like 10 full seconds of silence.
Yeah.
and
pulling
the
the
trigger.
trigger. I'm like, damn.
And then his head is just shaking like a
You could tell that it's like, come on, say the line. Come on, say the line.
Yeah.
We're doing this in one take. Say the line.
Come on, Steve.
And pulling the trigger. All right, cut. Cool. Is that good? Any edits? Nah, fuck it. Just print that shit. Go.
I
Set
feel
it up.
like everybody in that ad has done cocaine though.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know if anyone did cocaine, it's Pee Wee Herman.
Oh my multiple of them. Pounds.
R.I.P., man. Then it goes to the news report. The Tennessee News.
Yeah, the actual news report, which is a really nice touch.
Yes,
Yeah.
I thought that was real news footage. Because a real 85-year-old man found Andrew Thornton's body in his driveway.
Fred Myers.
Fred Myers, thank you.
That'd be a hell of a way to go to work. Sorry, I can't come in. There's a dead body in my driveway.
I would be delighted.
But
You would.
it'd be like everyone in New Zealand.
Oh
has to
no,
deal
I
with-
can't go to work today.
That's like people in New Zealand have to deal with that big elephant
Oh,
seal.
that seal?
Yeah.
That's harassing
I can't
that
come into
town?
work today. It's like, why? Neil's blocking the truck. Oh, that's fine. Okay, just come into work.
What?
Yeah, you didn't know about that?
No.
There's an elephant seal, like, it's not full grown yet,
I
but
think
it's
it's
a...
the molting season, right?
Yeah, he
Oh,
comes
no.
up during molting season, and then he just stays on this island with his people, and he just hangs out.
He just harasses all the
But
neighbors.
he's fucking huge, but they can't do anything about him because he's protected. So it's like, hey, I can't do anything. Why? The Neil's, they named him Neil. They named
I was about to ask, is it
Yeah.
actually named
Yeah.
Neil?
They named him, the whole community knows him as Neil. So he just hangs out behind like trucks and stuff, and like tackles barricades on the road because that's what he does. Yeah, and he gets free roam of the place, and that like at the end of a week, he just goes back out to sea. He's like, all right, see you, Neil.
Delightful.
But it's funny because sometimes it's like, do people just be walking down the street and Neil's like, I'm gonna follow him.
Yeah.
And they're like, Neil, can you piss off? And Neil's just like, like, all right, whatever, Neil. Yeah. It's great.
That's fantastic.
He's huge. Think of
He's-
him like a
he's-
full-grown man.
He's only about as old as he's a little older than our dog.
Yeah.
Oh.
But when he gets full grown, that's gonna be a chungus. Holy
Yeah,
hell,
I
elephant
believe
seals.
it. If it's an elephant seal, I believe
But
it.
yeah, it's something like that. Like trying to go to work, and it's like, oh yeah, Neil's blocking my car. Oh yeah, there's a dead motherfucker who's blocking the road. Like what happened to him? He got fucked up. He's dead. I don't know.
Yeah.
He died. What happened to him? He died.
Neil got to him. so they find Andrew's body, and then it cuts back to the actual movie footage, and we meet one of the best detectives in a movie,
I
Bob.
love him so much.
Detective Bob.
Isaiah Whitlock.
Thank you.
His
Isaiah
full
Whitlock.
name. I love that shit. It's like, what does the C stand for?
Yeah, his full name is Andrew C. Thornton Jr. And his I don't want to call it partner,
Yeah.
but like his
rookie in charge, his training, his Ethan Hawke, I guess.
his understudy, Reba.
Yeah, it is Georgia. Oh no, it is Tennessee.
They're in Tennessee.
I love it. What does the C stand for? You said his full name, but you didn't. And he's just like,
He just gives her a look.
Yeah.
He's just like smart ass.
She's a Eula Smart from Wheel of Time.
Oh.
Thank you. I didn't recognize her from anything. I don't think I've ever seen her before.
She's relatively new, but apparently she's doing really well with that series. So
Good for her.
that's another one I need to watch.
Bob recognizes Andrew as being one of Sid's guys, and this is the first glimpse we get. We get a mugshot of Sid, Ray Liotta, rocking this awesome 70s haircut.
With his full name, Sidney White, which immediately made me think of Amanda Bynes. I was like, oh, yes, great movie.
bring in the dancing lobsters.
The only thing I remember for that movie is the obsession with that one particular Stanley hammer.
Yes!
I have no point of reference for this movie. I've never seen it.
Think of
so
it like Snow White
good.
and the Seven Dwarfs.
That's how Erica described it to me
But-
last night.
But it's a Amanda Bynes movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
It's
basically it.
peak Amanda Bynes. It's so good.
So Bob has a little dog.
Recently
no.
acquired.
I recently acquired. Her name is Rosette. Don't know what kind of dog this is.
Maltese.
She's Maltese. Long white-haired dog. I think this dog is absolutely hideous, and I love dogs.
She looks so sweet.
She does look sweet, but she's ugly.
And she's so chill.
And she's played by two different dogs.
Yes.
Which is funny because one's name is New York and the other's name is Paris.
Nice.
Fitting for Maltese. Yes.
So he basically is like, hey, don't you have a dog? She goes, I did. He goes, oh, what would he like to play fetch? She goes, yeah, he loved fetch.
You love fetch.
And he's like, oh, I bet he was a good dog. And he gets in his car, and I love that from 90% of this movie, Rosette is in a police evidence box,
Yeah.
sitting in his passenger seat
Yeah,
of the car.
I didn't realize that. She was in that box the entire damn
most
film.
of the damn movie.
The only time
Until the very end.
Yeah,
That's
she
crazy.
literally
Yep.
gets out of the box at
And
the
goes-
end of the movie.
And goes to Eddie.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like, you're my friend now.
Yeah. This
We're
is where
not having tacos. We're having something else.
So we jump over to St. Louis, and we meet David, played by Isaiah.
No, played by O'Shea.
O'Shea.
O'Shea, I'm sorry, what did I say?
Isaiah.
My bad. O'Shea. He has progressively worse luck as this movie goes on. We're not gonna spoil anything right now, but at this moment he steps in something sticky in his brand new shoes at what looks like a Chuck E. Cheese.
He just bought those shoes.
Those shoes are brand new.
So
I will
upset.
say, I think David was my favorite character of the whole film.
He was
great.
so good.
I like David.
Yeah.
I liked him and Eddie together.
That's right.
Yeah.
They were really good too.
They were. So he's walking through, and this kid jumps up in a ball pit, and he goes, "Hi, David." He goes, "Ah, Gabe." And he goes, and he walks over to a table, and he's meeting with his boss, is Sid, Ray Liotta. He tells him, like, look, that money, Andrew's dead. We got to find that cocaine because we got to give it the money to the people I work with. I need you to go get Eddie. He goes, Eddie quit.
He's out the game.
He's out the game. He goes, and he says that his wife just died. And he's like, he got out of the game because of his wife. She's dead now. He can get back in the game.
That's right. There's no barrier of entry anymore.
Yes.
There's nothing stopping him.
And he's got a great line of, I'm tired of watching my kid's kid. And Gabe is like, just falls back in this ball pit. Like, Grandpa, look. And he goes, yeah, that's great. Ray Liotta sucks in this movie. He's funny. His acting is fine.
Yeah.
His character sucks.
I think that was the point, though.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it's funny as heck. Like thinking about
Absolutely.
like a drug lord, like watching his grandson. Just
Yeah.
Like,
In a
Yeah, like it's like, you left your son with me? Are you for real?
it's like there are worse choices you could have made.
Yeah.
But I'm the best one.
I'm not daddy daycare. Then we meet Sari and Dee Dee, mom and daughter. This is the part that messed me up. because this is the day before the main events of the film,
Yeah.
which I missed. I just it went right over my head.
Don't feel bad. That's the same way because we're getting into it later. But when they had the scene where like she came back from work,
Yes.
after saying like, "Oh, I got to work a late shift," and it's like, what the fuck just happened?
Yes, that's what
like,
got me.
It's literally like it's still daytime to daytime, and it's like, what happened?
Uh-huh.
That was a really late shift of 30 fucking minutes. What happened?
Erica had to sit me down and use very small words and explain to me that no, there was a time skip. That was the night before because she
Yeah.
mentions dinner is in the microwave.
I gotcha.
And I was like, oh.
The
I
whole
get it.
time I
It-
was just like, Mom is gonna be pissed.
It
She did
confused
not
the
do
shit.
anything with that
Yeah,
chicken.
like that whole scene went way over my head. She
Yep.
had to explain to me what happened. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So
Because I was like, damn, that's kind of early to be sipping some wine.
It's because
Yeah,
she was
when she
running
gets
on
back
women's
from work.
time. That's what it was. She
Is
was
what?
running on women's time. That's why
Yes.
we knew.
she was having girls' breakfast.
Yes.
So Sari is telling Dee Dee that instead of going to paint the waterfall this weekend, which I don't even know what the fuck that means,
How do you paint a waterfall?
unless that's completely
The
literal,
best way you can.
right? With non-water-based paints,
Oh my god.
lead-based,
My guess is
Hell
that she
yeah,
probably
it's
wanted to
80,
see the
baby.
waterfall and paint a picture or a painting or something.
something. So
Yeah, that would make more sense.
Okay.
To paint,
Yeah.
like actually.
yeah, they're not actually
Paint
painting
the
the waterfall.
waterfall.
They're painting the scenery.
Which, let's talk about this waterfall.
They're making a paint picture.
That's
So-
a
so-
still life even.
So this is all still the day before. Even the meeting with David and Sid. She tells her, hey, you got there's some chicken in the microwave. Go ahead and heat it up. We're gonna go to Nashville this weekend instead with Dr. Kissyface. Ray. Dee Dee's against it. Whatever. It's not super important to the plot. This is the thing where
Yeah, because they wanted to see his band in Nashville.
they want to go see a band play.
This pediatrician has a band.
I didn't think it was his band. I thought they were going to go see a band.
Yeah, that was my understanding
Oh,
too.
I thought it was
They
his
were-
band.
This,
No.
this motherfucker's talented.
Yeah, I was like, what kind of skills? Is
It's like,
he also an astronaut?
It's like, ma'am, your kid has herpes. Anyway, I got to go for band practice. I'll catch you later.
Or hit these drums. I'm trying to be like Huey Lewis in the news.
Yeah.
So,
You think he's more talented than Olaf's brother?
yes.
Okay.
Although I
It'd be
still
funny
don't
if
think
they
it's
were
his
gonna go
band.
see Olaf's brother too.
Oh, they're in the same band.
They could be.
He's in an Icelandic punk band.
Very 80s.
This is a thing that if I had ever said to my mother, I probably would have lost some teeth.
Oh yeah.
But when Sari leaves the room, Dee Dee says to her, "Close my door."
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about you guys, but in the house I grew up in, that's not my door. That's my parents' door.
Well, not
I'm
only-
just borrowing it.
Not only that, these are some badass fucking kids, which we haven't even got to Henry yet. I'll say, but
Henry's
like,
great.
yeah,
Henry's
I'll
adorable.
say the very
Don't
next
take
scene
everything
where they
away.
introduce
He's a
the kids,
gremlin.
they're
No,
like,
but do they introduce like anything else with Henry? Because it's like, oh, Henry's neglected. Because
Not
he's trying
before-
to use the bathroom. He's trying to eat all the food. Like,
He's a really big wrestling fan.
Yeah, we don't get anything on Henry until we meet him at the doorway the next
Yeah.
morning.
and apparently has like supposed ties to drug people somehow. Because there's, even though it was a joke, they're like, yeah, me and Tito, or whatever his name was, like,
Falk. What kind of name
Falk?
is Falk?
It's
Peter
the
Falk?
80s.
No,
I
that was
mean,
the
it is
kid.
the
The
80s.
kid's name's
The
Falk.
kid's first name was
I remember
Falk.
looking at it because I was like, it looks like Hulk.
Hey there, kids, we're gonna do some drugs.
Me and my friend Cock are gonna do some cocaine.
Look it up, make sure it
But
is.
yeah, no, these kids are like badass little kids. I'm like, good lord.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was in the same boat. And I'm like,
I
don't know
would
about-
never have said that to my
Well, not
mom.
only that, but like with all the like anti-drug culture in school and everything, like the way they're like a couple scenes later, like yeah, let's do drugs hardcore. I'm like no, they scared like the shit out of me with like anti-drug or
But,
anti-drug propaganda.
That was like we came up in the 90s.
Yeah.
That is the 80s.
That is also true.
Why did you point at me when you said that?
Because you came up in the 80s.
I'm a 90s
For
kid at heart.
9 whole days.
I
The
I
90s.
was barely in the 80s. I don't like how Erica pointed right at me when she said the word
I was
80.
like,
She's like, look, we're 90s, the
like,
three
we
of
grew up
us.
in the 90s.
Yeah.
Fucking old man over here at the table.
This
See
motherfucker.
that gray in his beard?
But anyway, yeah.
After we meet Sari and Dee Dee, now we get to meet Eddie finally. And Eddie is drowning his sorrows in some penne pasta at a bar.
Unsauced.
Yeah, it literally took me a minute, like, because there was a couple of scene transitions, and I'm like, is he just eating raw pasta?
It just looks like
Just
penne.
pasta in the raw?
It looks so boring.
And then I like how David's like, can I get some penne too? He's like, it's just, there's nothing to it. It's just pasta.
No, he asked him. He's like, "Is there a sauce or is there chicken?" He goes, "It's just penne. It's just plain.
I like
it's
how-
just plain."
Like, I don't know if that was a joke for something. I love just felt like, yeah, we're a bar. We serve just plain penne noodles.
Yeah.
That's all we got.
I mean, it doesn't look like the kind of bar I want to eat their food.
Yeah.
It's a
Maybe they're
1980s
wings.
bar. So it probably smells exactly like an ashtray. And then, I mean, come on. And you mentioned it already, but he's got the tattoo.
Oh, yeah. I fucking love it. It's like,
His wife Joni died.
it's like, it says John.
They spelled her name wrong.
I gotta wear this for 7 more days for it to heal before I can get it covered up.
Yeah, because Davey, why don't you can just get it covered up. I can't for 7 days.
But the
I'm
joke
trying to
was
think of how bad-
hilarious. Like, they were supposed to say Joe, and it's John.
I got 7 days of John.
7 days.
How badly did he write this that they thought it said John though? That's the thing that I'm wondering. Like, did he turn his A around or like what? How did that happen?
I don't.
Or maybe the H or the A wasn't closed all the way, so they were like H. Maybe I don't know.
Maybe he was just sobbing in tears, and they just heard John.
So, hey, buddy, what do you want to say? I want to say John. Okay, cool. John it is.
Here we go, buddy. Hold on to your mullet. Also, while they're having this conversation about going to get the drugs, because this is where David's supposed to convince Eddie to come back.
Right.
There's a nosy trucker at the other end of the bar who kind of gives them a glance and overhears their conversation, which is important.
And this is why you need to mind your business. You know, that trucker should have minded his business.
To be fair, they weren't really being quiet.
That's true.
Especially
Loud as
Eddie.
hell.
Yeah.
Eddie was wailing,
Yeah.
which he does for most of his early scenes in this movie.
I mean, his wife did just die.
Get over it.
No.
The bitch is dead. Come on,
It's just
guy.
a wife.
Let's go sell some drugs. Fuck your dead wife.
That's basically what Sid was, though.
That's what it
Oh,
was.
that was Sid all day.
That was what it was.
Sid's the worst.
He is.
He's a terrible father and grandfather and father-in-law. He's awful.
Well, does he look like Daddy Daycare Center?
No, certainly doesn't. He looks like Daddy 1970s Coke Party. This is where we meet Henry. He shows up the next morning. Mm-hmm. So now we're into the day that most of the movie takes place in. And he shows up to skip school with Dee Dee, and he just bought this awesome wrestling belt that just showed up in the mail. And he's rocking this belt the whole movie, but you forget about it until the very end.
Yeah. Like, I see, when we saw him under the falls, I was like, oh, he still has that belt on.
Forgot all about it.
Hell yeah. Like imagine like when you were a kid and like big time into Power Rangers, and then you got like a Power Ranger belt of the same fashion. You're not taking that fucking thing
Or
off.
you had the
Hell no.
wrist thing.
The
morpher?
Morphers?
Yeah.
Yes.
That thing stays on until it breaks off. You get something nice like that, you want not only do you want to show it off, but you want to hold on to it.
Yes.
He did have to, mow 1,000 lawns for it or something?
Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or allowances for like 1,000 weeks, something.
He spent a lot of his money on it.
Yeah.
I'm sure it wasn't a lot of money, but it was a lot of his money.
For a kid, like that's like everything he had.
Oh,
you know?
absolutely.
In the 1980s, it probably only cost $20, but
Yeah, but you gotta imagine like that's 1980s too.
Yeah,
like
he was
oh,
probably
like,
getting like $1
Good
a
job
week.
mowing this grass.
That or
Here's
$2
50
for
cents.
yard.
That guy got you a
Yeah.
cheap car freaking nowadays. So he leaves his backpack at the house when they leave, and he mentions that I gotta pay. And he says, "Pee outside. Just don't go in my house." And what does he say? I don't know why I skipped school for you.
yeah.
Something like that.
Also, like the fact like she's hanging out with this kid who's clearly her friend, but like, don't you come to my house?
He's like, my mom's about
no.
to be home
Yes,
soon.
that's why the mom is about to
Yeah.
be home. Yes, thank you.
Oh, and then for what was it? For a lonely person, you do a lot of shit to get your noticed by your mom or something.
Yeah.
I think there was a line out there. That was
Yeah.
really
Yeah,
good.
and that's another point I want to touch on. Like, even though these are kids, a lot of the writing for the children, you could tell this is stuff kids would not say.
Yeah.
That being said, it was really damn funny.
I think that when they have the conversation later when they find the brick of coke,
Yeah.
that feels like a genuine conversation that kids would have.
Yeah.
One trying to impress the other one. We're almost to that point.
Right.
Right now we're back at Bob,
Mm-hmm.
and Bob mentions the trucker that heard Eddie and David.
Well, first he's on the phone with like an animal rescue trying to get a different dog.
Yeah, he mentions he was supposed to get a lab.
Yeah.
But he got
Maltese.
Rosette, the little Maltese,
Which is weird
who's
because
still in that police box.
because I don't know if like because at first I thought like okay maybe this is his wife's dogs or something like because at first it seems like he does not like want this Maltese at all. But every subsequent time he thinks about Rosette, he loves that dog.
Yeah.
So I'm like, so is he just trying to like, well, I need a big manly dog for man reasons, like, but he loves Rosette, like, or like, yeah, it was a weird dichotomy of like, okay, well, he doesn't like this dog at all, to like, he fucking loves his dog.
He loves
when
that dog.
When I first saw the dog in his car at the Thornton crime scene, I had that same thought. I was like, did he just get this dog from his ex-wife?
Yeah, that's the vibe I got. Like, I don't like this dog. I
Right.
want a big, like, mannish, like, stereotypical dog. And it's like, but you love this dog.
Yeah, and he even has a daydream about him and the dog being happy at the office later on.
Oh, I missed that bit.
Yeah, it's a quick little shot.
Okay.
Yeah, because he calls Reba right after that, and it's like, hey, how's Rosette doing? Everything all right?
I didn't get a chance to say goodbye to her before I left.
Yeah, just like, who the fuck does that?
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I say bye to my dogs when I leave the house.
I do. I tell him when I want to be home and everything, and then I love him when I'm like, I'll see you in like an hour and a half.
Yeah, but he asks Reba if she can. He says, "Hey Reba, are you busy tonight?" And she's like, "Look, Bob, you're a great guy." And before she's even done talking, he pulls this box up and he goes, "Because I need someone to watch Rosette." And Rosette's so polite. She just sits in this box with a little bow in her hair.
Yeah, I don't think Rosette made a single noise the entire movie.
No.
She barely moves.
Yeah, she's just there.
She's chill as hell. He goes, "You had a dog. You know how to take care of him." And Reba kind of reluctantly is like, "Yeah, I'll watch the dog." He goes, "You're the only one I can trust." You're the only one I can trust.
Yeah, I love that.
That's important later. For the one surprise that came in this film. Nothing about this film had any kind of twists or turns except for one moment near the end.
There was never any, like, unnecessarily complexity in the film.
No.
Everything was, like, more or less straightforward.
If you... Listeners, if you saw a single trailer for this film, you know everything that's going to happen. Except for this one little thing that's not important in any way. She takes the dog. This is where Sari gets home from work. Mm-hmm. She's rolling up with her bike, and it looks like they live out in the middle of fucking nowhere. Because there's no other houses around them. It's just woods.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And she has her nice little self... She has herself a nice little glass of AM wine. And
with some ice cubes, because you know she's living that high life.
She lays in bed, and it's real quiet.
Get ready to fall asleep.
And then the phone rings. She's like, "What the fuck?" And there's the school calling saying, "Hey, your daughter's not at school today." So she calls Dee Dee's father and
gets, I guess, his girlfriend or his wife,
his girlfriend or wife. He's like, "Why is every time I call he's in the bathroom? What's wrong with him?" It's like, he doesn't want to talk to this lady.
It's like, why is he always shitting?
Yeah, why is he always in the bathroom? So she takes off to the park, and then when we get to the park, we meet Park Ranger Liz, played by is it Margot?
Margot Martindale.
And she's, what's the word I want to look for? Obnoxious isn't the word, but something close to that.
Overbearing.
Yeah.
No.
She's a little... She thinks too high of herself.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah. Yes. She does think of her position as a park ranger.
Yeah, she's like, we're basically the police.
Yeah. She carries a loaded firearm. So she's in there, and she's waiting for some company, who's Peter.
And she's also low-key getting robbed by...
these teens.
Yeah.
Which the kids didn't even actually have names. You know that, right?
Yeah!
Yeah, in the trailer.
The one that is in the shop at that time is known as Vest. He's played by a kid named J.B. Moore. The one that shows up, the other two that show up later, one's name is Ponytail and the other one's name is Stash. That's how they're referred to.
Stash is one of my favorite characters.
Stash is hilarious, though.
So
I wrote them down in my notes as shorts because Vest has these really short shorts on. Mm-hmm. Rat Tail.
The ponytail. Yeah.
Yep. And Stash, that's what his name was in the credits, was just Stash.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So Vest is stealing a bunch of shit, put in his pockets, and she tells him, that one thing is going to be 5 cents, and, let me see what's in your pockets. And he distracts her by saying something about her perfume.
It's like, oh, well,
It's
something
European.
smells good.
But he's talking with a mouthful of candy, so he's smacking, which was annoying the hell out of me. He's like, "Oh, what is that? Oh, is that European?" And I was like, "Shut up." And completely distracts her. She forgets that he was stealing shit.
But I also like that she offers him a 5-cent sucker. And he's like, I want the green one. It's like, well, you're getting the red one.
Yeah. I like the green ones. This one's red. That part was good.
Which is, like, even later when, like, what's this, Peter? Peter does show up?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then, like, he just straight pockets all that fucking candy. And
Yeah.
and she does not care
When
at
she's
all.
when she's putting her cigarette out.
Yeah. Literally,
he's just putting more shit in his pockets.
Yeah, I was saying, and it wasn't even subtle at all. Just like fucking just scoops that shit, and like at that point, like she didn't give a fuck. Like,
No.
you take all the candy.
Yeah, she's like, let me get Peter.
It's a hum and a squeeze.
Peter comes in with the Smokey the Bear cutout. He is
I believe he's supposed to be some sort of inspector. Some sort of like a
Yes.
wildlife inspector or something.
That makes sense. That
Yeah,
Which is why he was
it's-
looking at the trash cans and the doors and windows and stuff.
That is, yes. Wildlife inspector was the note I wrote down. I couldn't find it. Yeah, so he knows animals. I'm sorry, our friends.
Yeah,
he
'cause
doesn't like the word animals.
doesn't like the word
Yeah.
animals.
But when he comes in, he's like, "What's that smell?" And the vest is me like, "It's European." Somebody smoking, and Liz is immediately like, He was smoking. Bad habit. You know, cigarettes kill. And they shush him out the door, and Peter grabs a lollipop and he starts sucking on it, and he's looking at this. He's looking at this taxidermied beaver that's on the counter.
I forgot about that joke.
And he's looking at it, and he says just offhandedly, "You got some dust on your beaver." And Liz goes, "Yeah, well, I'm working on that."
Yeah, I like the fact like she is laying into it hard.
Oh, she wants to fuck this guy
he
bad.
is oblivious as all fuck. Not even ignoring her. Like, no, like she's throwing it out there and it's just it's like, I don't know what you mean. Anyway, animals.
He's so invested in his job.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's dedicated.
Yes.
That's what he's dedicated
Yeah, well, I'm
to
working
the
on
animals.
that.
To his
I thought that was a
friend.
solid joke.
That was a good one.
Yeah, it
I didn't
was.
catch it on the first watch. This movie jumps around a lot between all these groups of characters, so try not to do that so much
I think
at a certain point.
It cuts back to
Once everybody gets
Dee
together.
and-
Yeah, it goes to Dee Dee and Henry,
Yeah.
and they're at the kind of like the "You Are Here" sign.
Yeah.
And Dee Dee's like, "Henry, come look. It looks like these deers are doing it." And it says something like, "Watch out for wildlife." Is it Dee Dee who finds the brick of cocaine?
Yeah.
Because Henry is stealing Dee Dee's food.
Yeah,
During
this
this
kid
time.
is always stealing people's food. I don't think he eats at the house. I think
That's
he's
Yeah,
right.
right.
that's
Like-
why they set it up. Like even like you see it in the beginning when he's like, "I want to use the bathroom," and then he steals her food here, and then I think he steals something else from her later too. But yeah,
This kid's hungry.
yeah.
He's also a grown
Pringle-
boy.
but
He's
he-
13.
It was funny though. What was it? He left the carrots, but he went for the Pringles. I think during this
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, because Dee Dee pulled out a bag of celery and carrots, and he says something about, "Did your mom pack a second lunch?" And he's stealing the Pringles. She finds the Coke, and he tells this story about, "I've done drugs. Me and, what'd you call him?
Falk. His name
Falk.
is Falk.
Falk. We've done drugs." And she goes, "Well, do it now." How? Falk.
I was like, the only reason I remember is because why is it spelled like caulk?
It sure is. And she cuts into this bag, and she makes a big, long cut in it. And my thing was like, no, just a little bit. You only need a little bit.
I was really worried though that I was gonna watch these kids sniff cocaine, and it was 10 times worse watching them try to eat it.
Well, she asks, "How do you do it?" Now one of them know. And then that stuff looks like...
Which you can still get a contact high from eating it though. Can't
Well, of
you?
course.
What the
Yeah,
amount they
yeah.
had, they should be dead.
Yes.
But it's so coarse looking. It looks like sugar crystals.
Yeah.
You imagine snorting that?
Well, that's why you got to chop it up with the.
That's what I'm saying.
gotta
If they tried to snort it, they'd be bleeding like Sammie was before we started recording.
Dang.
Was it you got a mortal
I
pestle?
didn't come here like this.
But she covers this knife
Your
blade.
pocket mortar and pestle.
That's right.
Yeah. This is my camping mortar and pestle. It's camouflage.
When I needed
Lost it one time for a week.
I need to make flour real quick.
Pick these random berries. I'm tripping. So she has this little pocket knife. The entire blade's length of it is covered in cocaine, and she just dumps it in her mouth and immediately spits it out. And then Henry proceeds to do the exact same thing.
I would argue that these kids are high the rest of this
Oh
movie.
yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
There's no way they're not. Especially with a Henry. It's like I know later when they showed the scene where they're climbing trees, like he got the fuck up there. But
Yes.
there was nothing for him to grab onto. So that little kid is like monkey shrinks grabbing that tree.
The cocaine propelling him
Yeah.
up.
Raise me up, cocaine. Get me higher.
Powered by cocaine and fear.
For real. So,
Maybe that's why he's so hungry throughout the rest of the movie. Is the cocaine giving him the munchies?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
does cocaine give you munchies? I thought that was just weed. I thought
don't know.
cocaine just makes you like really
I would
hyper
imagine
energetic.
like once you get
That
off
makes you
that
like manic.
once you get off that high, but your body is probably craving calories because you burnt through them without realizing it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
We have a friend we can call and ask.
We do.
We're not going to mention them by
But we're
name.
not-
We're calling an
I was
expert.
about to say,
Yeah.
Erica, you should call.
It's like remember, don't do crack.
Don't eat it.
Here, kid, put this loaded gun in your mouth. That's what it's like doing crack. Now pull the trigger, Timmy. So they find a duffel bag with more cocaine in it, and I kept count every time we found a duffel bag, not including the ones that were on the plane or they threw out, just on the ground. And each bag was worth $15 million, approximately. Mm-hmm. So they find their first one.
Are you going to tell us the total later, or?
I can tell you now if you want.
I would like to know.
Which it was a fun game we play later because me and Sam were noticing as scenes were going by, they're just passing duffel bags in the woods. I'm like, oh, there's one. Look at that.
I compared it to those little hidden tree guys in Zelda. Mm-hmm. That give you a golden seed or something when you find them.
Little Koroks.
Yes, yeah. I compared it to those because they just pop up. Mm-hmm. So I counted 9 in total.
Damn.
So that's almost 150 million. What's that? $135 million in those bags.
That's crazy.
And a lot of it gets eaten by our bear.
Right?
By in the midst of the movie, a single bear, was eating all this cocaine. Which the real life bear, when they did find it dead, they said its stomach was full of cocaine bags.
I think it was 75 grams.
Yeah.
Luckily, our CGI bear in this movie survives.
Oh yeah.
Luckily.
But
Which
by the
his
way,
name is
let me give props. The CGI in this movie was immaculate.
For the budget.
Yeah, it was
pretty
really good CGI.
Yeah.
See,
it was fantastic.
For me, there were moments that were good.
Yeah.
But then there were some moments that was this looks kind of off. Especially when David and Eddie are in the truck right before they get to the mountain.
Yeah.
That didn't look quite right. Because, it's clearly a green screen behind them.
Well, I get that, but...
what's really cool about this, though, is it takes place, this is supposed to be between the border between Tennessee and Georgia, which is where most of this happened. But then, when they went to do filming and everything, most of the filming is actually done in Ireland.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the end credits, it's got Ireland, I think Iceland, Georgia.
Yeah, and then, but, the thing that bothered me was the waterfall thing.
Yeah.
The waterfall thing?
Yeah, because the waterfall they use for this movie and everything, toward the end, is the Power Score waterfall, which I'm probably not saying that right. And so it's just this is kind of random in Georgia, because Georgia's waterfalls aren't this big like this.
Yeah, this is a full-on multi-story jumping off the dam waterfall.
I'll say, beautiful miracle of nature kind of thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Another thing, though, with the green screen you were talking about is one of the other locations they had in there was Dublin. So they probably had to take some things out so you wouldn't recognize Dublin.
Probably.
And that's probably why they did the green screen.
Yeah, probably.
That's probably why the pub looks the way it does. Mm-hmm. That little bar.
Yeah, it was...
Yeah, it could very well be.
Out Midwest, maybe that'd be normal, but not.
That could have also been a set.
That is true. Yeah.
But I, for the most part, I agree with Blair. The CGI for what they had to work with in this movie looked pretty good.
Yeah, for the budget, especially with the bear looked really good.
I think it was a $33 million budget?
Yeah, 30 to 35, but it made 90 though.
Yeah.
So it did well. But
good for them.
Especially post-pandemic, it's really good.
But the bear and everything. So there were some pieces where it's you could tell that it was somebody sort of in his suit moving a bit. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, the what's his name? It's Alan Henry. He is a student of Andy Serkis. So they did motion capture and stuff. So he had prosthetics.
For the bear?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
The bear was mocap.
That was why sometimes when the bear moved its head, it was a bit awkward. And then sometimes when its arms and legs, how it was moving a bit, it'd be kind of a bit stilted. But
when it was trying to crawl on Eddie?
When it fell on Eddie?
Dancing scene.
I cannot wait to get to that part. I love that part of the movie. We're at...
They just did the cocaine.
They just did the cocaine. Wow, we got way off.
We went on a stream of consciousness there.
A little bit. And this is where the bear pops up behind them like a fucking cartoon character. And it kind of is, a high-res cartoon character. And it screams at them, and when it sneezes cocaine all over them.
Yep, just booger, or what was it?
Booger sugar?
Thank you. Booger sugar, cocaine, just all on the open face and mouth, and it was oh.
And there's a little cloud, and they take off running. David and Eddie are stopped on the side of the road, and David is getting his ass chewed out by Sid, mentioning that trucker overheard them. He's like, look, I'll take care of it. I got Eddie here. We're fine. He gets in the truck. Eddie is just a sad sack, talking about Joni. And this fucking song comes on the radio that I have never heard before. And Erica is singing it word for word.
It's Jeffrey,
so much.
Jeffrey Osborne. On the Wings
of
Love.
Love.
I've never heard this.
You've never... Oh my god.
It's
I probably
so
heard it in
good.
passing, but not
But it
enough to
is-
remember the
Dude,
song.
Erica was
Yeah.
singing it, and I sat there and I was
Yeah.
like,
Word
Which
for I
they did
love
have
that
some
song.
good. They did have some good '80s choices. I wrote
They
a couple of them
did.
down, like the Commodores, Depeche Mode, Slim Whitman, the Warrior, Patti Smith, Jefferson Starship. They had some good stuff.
There was-
And then
there
they
was
did
some good music in
remixes
this
and
movie.
stuff.
my favorite one is near the end, which I'll mention it when we get there.
Right.
But he said, he's like, you want me? I'll turn the radio off. He goes, no, don't turn it off. And he just. He also has a thing about, what if my dad killed her?
Oh
And
yeah.
David's like, your dad didn't kill Joni. She had cancer. Yeah, what if I gave her what if he gave her the cancer?
I'm like, what is he, Star-Lord's father? Like, what? How did he do this?
You can't give people cancer, Eddie. You
Now,
can't with stress.
I know that sounds bad, but
Stop.
Yeah.
Maybe a worse father, compilation with those two, Sid versus, what's his name?
Jeff Bridges.
All I'm thinking is
Ego.
It's Kurt Russell.
Oh yeah,
It's like-
Ego the Planet.
So they're on their way to the mountain. Sari.
Sorry.
Sari. A name I've never heard before.
Ever.
So Sari, Carrie Russell's character, gets to the ranger visitor shack or
Yeah.
watch station, whatever it's called. And she's asking Peter and Liz to help her find her kid. And they're not listening to a fucking thing she's saying. She goes, I'm looking for my daughter. She's only like 13. Minors should be accompanied with an adult all the time. Well, she didn't. She came here on her own. I didn't know she was coming here. Oh, we get runaways all the time. She's not a runaway. She came to paint the waterfall.
Yeah, Margot was not hearing a word she was saying. She was like solely focused on Peter.
Which
It's
if
like,
you-
get the fuck out of here! I'm trying to get some.
If
Yeah.
you watch the
Yeah.
scene, she puts herself between the mom and Peter, like she's protecting Peter
Yep.
from the mom. And I'm just like, what is Pink Jumpsuit gonna do? Huh?
I mean, to be
Nothing.
fair, she's trying to get some, and all of a sudden this attractive woman in a pink jumpsuit comes out of the woods. It's like, get the fuck out of here!
But yeah, she's rocking this 1980s pink windbreaker jumpsuit.
Yeah.
The whole movie.
And I was telling because my brother came in for a little bit. We were just watching the movie, and
Shout out to Daniel.
there you go. But we were sitting there watching it, and I was like, well, that windsuit is doing her justice. It's hot damn.
I really did like that outfit though. I was like,
Right?
I could get that.
Like I said, I liked everyone in this movie. I think they all did a good job,
Yes.
even though some of their characters were fucking obnoxious.
But they were intended to be.
If anything,
Exactly.
that good damn acting.
They
on their
did
part.
good.
Yeah.
They did it very well. So they make their way up the mountain, and as they are leaving, David and Eddie pull into the parking lot.
Yes.
This is the part where it jumps around a lot between the characters. David goes to use the restroom, and when he's in the bathroom, he gets attacked by the kids.
It's really funny.
What is
because-
their name? What is the name of their club?
She calls
or
them the
whatever?
pop art punks.
They're like pew
No, there was
pew
another word
boys or
for it. It
something.
was like do
like the
something.
the do camps or something?
Yeah.
Something like
The
that.
do
yeah.
the do comps?
Yeah.
Something like that.
And at one point she calls them like pubes something because I
Yeah,
remember
the
that sticking
pubes.
out. The pubes and like the what? Oh, they're dangerous teenagers around here, and it's literally
Cutting people.
And literally the people just right in her shack earlier.
Yes.
Yeah, gang of pubes is what
Yeah,
she
That's
called
what she
them.
says.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is the group that we gave unofficial names to earlier. So this was Rat Tail, Vest, and Stash.
Mm-hmm.
They call each other and everyone else Bud. They tell David's in there. He's just washing his hands, and the camera just pans a little bit, and the three of these creeps are just standing on the opposite wall behind him.
Just
Yes.
watching it,
And
blocking the door.
yeah, and he's like, "What the fuck is this?" And you're like, "Empty out your pockets." And he goes, "No." He's like,
Yeah, he was so fucking baller in that scene.
Yeah.
It's
He
like,
was a badass.
Empty out your pockets or else. He was out a knife. It's like, I'm not going to do that. I'm like, ooh.
No, what I loved was when they asked him again, they're like, empty out your pockets, please. And he goes, oh, okay. So you said please. And he reaches into his pocket and he pulls out and he just flips them off. He goes, that's all I got. I think it's Rat Tail rushes. No, it's Stash.
Yeah.
Yes.
Stash rushes in with the knife and he knocks Stash out. And then he spends the next minute fighting the other two, hitting them with a skateboard, punching
Yeah.
them, throwing them against the
Beating
toilet.
their ass, yeah.
Just beating them.
I didn't understand why they kept attacking him one at a time.
Well, they
It's a crowded
swore that
bathroom.
like the first one would take care of the job, and when it didn't happen, and not only that, but he beat his ass. It was like they're both of them are kind of in shock because like, okay, your turn. I'm not going to do this. Yeah, everyone didn't want to do it, but they wanted to do it together. It's that kind of thing.
Okay.
Because it was written that way in the script.
Well, you know.
That's also a good answer.
Because it's three white boys taking on a black man, and they ain't
Also,
that smart.
but I
'Cause
like
he's
how
much
at
bigger
the
than
end
them.
of the
Different weight
conflict,
class.
He is so much bigger than all three of them, especially Shorts and Stash. Like Rat Tail's kind of a chunky boy, but none of them compared to O'Shea.
Yeah.
No, but O'Shea had muscle. You know, it's just like
Yeah.
It's like, what are you gonna do? And it's like, I'm gonna throw this stick at a
I
rock.
also like how he,
Right?
I like how he just handles being stabbed in the shoulder blade. He's like,
Oh my God.
man,
Dude,
that's
that
my
was-
favorite jersey. What
I
the
love-
fuck?
He's put out this whole movie.
So this is his second go of bad luck, getting stabbed in the shoulder. But it was funny the way you find out because he knocks the third kid out, and he's just like, "Oh, my shoulder hurts," and he's like, "What?" And he turns and looks in the mirror, and he's got this little he's got a little butterfly knife in his shoulder blade, not super deep in there, but enough. And he goes, "Man, I love this jersey."
Yeah, and he's so nonchalant about being stabbed. Like
He cares more about the shirt.
Yeah, nonchalant about kicking their asses, nonchalant about being stabbed in the shoulder, and it's just like it is what it is, I guess. But God, I've loved this jersey. This is bullshit. And it's like, my dude, you're stabbed, you're bleeding. It's like, it's whatever.
Yeah.
Which I love how that carries to the rest of the fucking movie. Just bad shit happens to him.
Right.
He's like,
It just keeps getting worse.
Yeah.
Well, it has stages.
Yeah. But I love that about his character. Is like, despite how bad shit gets, he's like,
He's a good dude, but he's got the worst luck in the movie.
yeah.
When he's cleaning off his stab wound in this disgusting bathroom, Eddie comes in to check on him, and he's like, "Oh my God, are you okay?"
No, he's like, what's taking so long? He's like, I got fucking stabbed.
And he goes to check on the teens. He goes, "Are they alive?" And he's like, "I think."
They were.
The one that stabbed me might not be, but
Yeah.
He was like, Jesus, they're kids. It's like, they fucking stabbed me.
And he finds a brick of coke on them.
Yeah.
They wake up, Stash.
After they took his shirt to staunch the bleeding.
Yeah, he's using
I don't
that
blame
with the
him.
blood.
Would you want to use like them nasty like towel things in there too?
That's true.
And all the fecal
No,
fecal
I
matter
think
is
it's more
in
funny
there.
that it's like, look, this kid pulled a knife on me. I'm using his clothes to clean up the blood, not mine.
That's true. I think he was gonna wear his shirt though too. Like,
Yeah.
he had thought about it and then he was like, nah, because it's nasty.
That man's not fitting in that little shirt.
No, but he took the shirt though too. You remember? He didn't even give it back to him until
Yeah,
like,
but
later.
again, like Erica said, I think he was just using that to clean up the blood.
Yeah, because his favorite jersey, he already got a little bit of blood on it. He didn't want to get any more blood on it. That's the
Yeah,
only thing he
heaven
had.
forbid he gets blood on that jersey.
white jersey.
I mean, just imagine if more blood got on it. That'd be awful.
What a shame. How awful.
Yeah, so they wake up Stash, and he's like, "Hey, where'd you find this fucking brick?" And he goes, "Oh, man, why are you so harsh, bud?"
He's like, you fucking stabbed me.
You're like, "Oh, man, you got a bad attitude."
And he was like,
Did
well,
we ever
like,
establish
I'm
that
not
they
the
were
one
all
to...
high when they attacked him?
Maybe.
I mean, it wouldn't
No.
make sense. Like, they decided to just attack a guy, like, in the fucking bathroom for no reason.
They never mention or show anything like that,
Yeah.
so I mean, they might not be. The brick of cocaine they had wasn't opened by the
Yeah.
look of it, because no one can open a brick of cocaine in a cohesive way in this film. Everyone rips them open or
Yeah.
slices them in
Bust
half.
them
Yeah.
for whatever
Yeah.
reason.
How else are we gonna know it's cocaine?
Come here, bear.
Yeah.
There's a good girl.
Eddie, no, it's David tells Eddie, go get the gun. And Stash, I'd rather not get the gun. Or no, Eddie says I'd rather not. And Stash like, yeah, I'd rather not either. I vote for not gun. And Eddie does this slow pretending to walk. Like, he's like, I'm going toward the door to get the gun.
It was a weird game of, like, good cop, bad cop they were playing at that moment.
Yeah.
But it was also really funny because David was like, and I'd rather not be stabbed. Eddie, go get the fucking gun.
Yes. He goes, where'd you find this coat? You know, I found it in a bag. You know, where's the bag? Well, it takes him a while to get the information out, but he's like, we hid it under a gazebo. A gazebo?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's a big civilian.
He's
A big
like
pavilion-looking
pavilion-like
structure. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't want to fucking gazebo this.
Yeah, but then Eddie goes, I didn't.
It's like, damn it, Eddie, stop.
Yeah, Eddie, shut the fuck up. So he takes him to the gazebo. They get the gun out of the car. Stash is standing there. Stash is this skinny fucking dude. He is a twig.
Yeah, he is
He's
tiny.
so
Tiny.
funny,
Throwing
though.
a stick at a rock.
He's funny. And he's standing there. He goes, getting kind of cold out here.
And Eddie looks at David and is like, come on, man. He's like, I don't want to fucking do it. He stabbed me. He's like, you going to let him freeze? Like,
And he throws him his own shirt back.
fine. And then fucking Stash is like, blood, really? On my shirt?
All around the collar.
Yeah. It was like, this is bullshit. What a day.
Yeah. I tried to stab you. Gosh. I didn't do it. He did it. And then I'm wearing your bloody shirt.
So this is a bunch of bullshit. I gotta walk out through the woods. Oh, me and my boys just want to go to New York City. That's all we want to do.
Yeah, later they mentioned they just want to go to New York City.
Yeah.
And we have another one of our little daydreams.
Which is sad because never mind.
Yeah.
We're getting there.
In that daydream, yeah. This is where Sari, Liz, and Peter find Henry in the tree.
Yes, they find the
They find some trash on the ground.
vegetable sticks.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, wait, I
And they're
packed
mad.
these sticks.
Yeah, because they hear Henry screaming for help.
Yeah.
And then they get mad about the trash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is going to end up in like was it?
Scat.
Scat.
Yes, because there's
bear
paper.
scat,
There's
yeah.
paper from the cocaine package too. And Henry's in this tree, and he's looking down at Sarah, and he goes, "We skipped school." And she goes, "No shit, Henry."
She's like, "Is Dee Dee up there with you?" She's like, "No."
The bear took her.
And then they were like, "What'd you do to the bear? Bears are gentle creatures." Like,
Yeah, you must have provoked
Yeah,
it. What'd you do?
I love you trying to tell them it's not the bear's fault. You clearly did this. What did you do? It's like, I'm telling you, that bear's crazy. It's psycho.
We need to get out of here.
Yeah, it's like, nah, we're not going nowhere. And then enters the bear.
Oh, and the bear has this Assassin's Creed stealth takedown of Peter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, because you can see the bushes behind him, these ferns kind of rustling.
Yeah.
And then suddenly he just gets yanked back, and then it gets Liz, and it's throwing them around in these bushes. Peter eventually goes face first into a pile of cocaine, which I counted as a different bag.
yep.
And so he's covered in coke the rest of the scene, and it takes a bite out of Liz's ass.
Mm-hmm.
And she's shooting the gun, and one bullet hits the tree right in front of Sari.
Mm-hmm.
I like that part too specifically because Peter pops up. It's like, "Why are you shooting me?"
Yeah, what? Get down. I saw it.
But she like that's the first moment where you see her like, "Oh, she's a really bad shot."
Terrible.
Because she has like her eyes closed and her head turned away.
Oh, she
Yeah.
also has terrible trigger discipline.
That's right.
yes.
Because every time she's got this gun out, her finger's on the trigger.
She got that fucking death grip on that thing.
Yeah, she's white knuckling this gun. But the bear attacks them, and she gets up and she goes, "Oh, fuck this," and she walks away.
Yeah, I like the fact not only did she walk away, she walked away from there all the way back to the ranger station, limping her ass off while bleeding.
She's like, "Hey, I'm going to get help," but I'm so confused why this bear did not go after her.
I mean, it did.
Well, she didn't
eventually.
have the drugs.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, the bear does go after her, but first it's got to have a little snack.
Which, if you look at it, like from the very beginning, there's this whole theme about going after the red bags throughout the movie because that's what the cocaine's in.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, even with Elsa in the opening, she had the bag. And then you've got this one now where they've got, like, all the cocaine on the floor and everything. That's what the bear is going after. And then later
Yeah.
on,
So if
you
you
have
pay attention
more
to the-
bags.
Okay.
Like,
There's
yeah,
like
it's
characters
really
who have
weird.
red bags or red like close bag paraphernalia in the film. The bear immediately associates that red bag.
It's a
like,
targeting,
this is
like a
more
bull.
cocaine, so it immediately goes for that. And we're getting to it later with the ambulance shows up and they have a red medic bag and he uses that as a distraction.
That is, I think, my favorite sequence in the film.
Yeah.
And when we get to it, I'm so excited.
We're almost there.
Now that Liz left, the ranger, Peter now climbs up a different tree. Henry says something like, "We're safe up here. Bears can't climb trees." And Peter's like, "What? Of course they can." And Henry's like, "Oh."
Why'd you
climb up?
Why did you climb up?
Yeah,
And he's like, oh shit, why did I climb up?
Why am I off the ground? The bear starts climbing up Henry's tree, and Henry is the only person I think that gets any hits in on this bear because he
Yeah.
kicks it in the snout a couple times. And when the bear gets high enough, it kind of gets level with Peter, and it's like,
This is after it like circled around the tree with Sari. Like she's playing like
yeah, a little bit.
yeah.
And she's down there scared to death. But it smells the drugs on Peter, and Peter's like, "Oh shit!" And he starts trying to pat himself off.
It releases more of the drugs
It just
in the air.
releases more, and the bear, so fast, gets down from this tree and runs over and climbs up the other tree so fucking quickly and just starts mauling Peter up in the tree.
He just like the bear keeps going after legs. Like
Yeah.
it never actually hits the body. Just the leg.
Yeah, it starts chewing on his thigh, and he's just hanging there, not trying to defend himself at all. He's just letting this kind of happen.
Well, you know, those are his friends.
They are his friends.
Also, not to mention, I don't know if he has the physical strength to pick his body up and like do something while hanging upside down.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
he had the physical strength to slap that bear before it got to him.
That's true.
He
that's
needed
true.
to go back to Finding Nemo, do the whole little fish are friends, not food thing.
Bears are
Because
friends,
obviously-
not food. So
Help
it,
teach the bear that about people, though.
yeah.
Yes.
This is another really gory moment though, because as Peter's hanging there, we aren't seeing the bear biting on him. We're just seeing him from his waist down,
Yeah, navel down.
which he's upside down, so from his waist to his head, and it's just raining blood down on him.
Yeah, 'cause
and he's just
Yeah, the bear's got him pinned, like his
To be
legs
fair,
are
though,
like
he's
wrapped
high
around
as
the
hell.
tree branch. The bear's kind of pinned on top of his legs, so he can't actually
Yeah.
go anywhere.
and he's going into shock because his bear's chewing through his fucking leg.
Yeah,
Henry climbs down, and he and Sari run away. And now it's this still shot of the tree, and the body just falls out of the tree, and then the leg falls down and hits the body. The bear comes down.
This is
bites-
Adam's favorite part.
This gave me such a hard laugh because the body is still covered in cocaine, and the bear goes over the severed leg, and the music kind of swells, and it just... Because the bear does a bump of cocaine off the leg.
Yeah, just a straight snort, like a line even, a whole line of cocaine off his man's severed leg.
Yes, and the sound effect is what made it so funny. Like a little bell noise.
It's like, hey, we just saw horrendous gore, and some comedy. But at least, hey, if Peter was in any way, shape, or form alive before he fell, he definitely died painlessly as soon as his head made impact, because he
should have landed head first.
Broke his neck.
He did a Christopher Reeves, man.
Oh my God.
R.I.P. Peter and his bad wig.
And R.I.P.
Oh, thank
Christopher
goodness.
Reeves.
Which is sad because
definitely Christopher Reeves.
the moment he walked into that ranger cabin with that wig, I'm like, oh, he's dead. There's no way.
Absolutely.
There's no way he
figured
makes
it
it this
out.
whole movie with that fucking wig on.
That wig cannot survive this movie.
We must kill that wig and Peter with it.
We have to save humanity from that wig.
You know what would be even funnier if that wasn't a wig? He grew his hair out for the movie, and they just tease the hell out of it to get it to look so terrible. Because I've never seen him look like this before.
Yeah.
Every time I've ever seen him, whether it's on Modern Family or
he has short hair.
He's got short hair. He looks clean. He looks like a decent dude.
Right.
In this movie, he looks disgusting.
Yeah, they scummed him up good.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. They had to pay him extra, put him in that wig. Like, hey,
bad.
here's a wig we wiped our ass with. Put this on your head.
But he was funny though. I liked him for his little bit of screen time.
Yeah, it was.
Liz gets back to the ranger station, and Rat Tail has bandaged up Shorts, and he's kind of unconscious over by the window. But he's also gone through and stolen all the shit that they were trying to steal earlier. Like they broke into both of her little money boxes.
All the money is gone. All the candy's gone. Everything's gone. It's just like, and then not even like shock goes through her mind. She said immediately, "You motherfuckers!"
No,
Wait, no, we're not there yet.
But first,
she's like, hey, call 911. And he's like, oh, we already did. They're on their way.
An ambulance.
Yeah. And she's like, that was fast. And she's like going through, pulls out the box. There's the bullets. And she's like going through the bullets. And then that's when she like looks around. She's like, oh.
Wait, but before even that, when she first walks in and she sees the two kids, one of them says to her, "No, he got you too, huh?"
Oh
yeah.
And
Yeah, big son of a bitch.
There's that like subplot of like misunderstanding. Like, oh, I'm talking about a bear. I'm talking about the guy who beat my ass.
They're talking about David. She's talking about a bear, but they're not saying that.
He took a chunk out of my ass. Like, God, what kind of demon is this?
Yes, because when she tells him to open the door with the gun, they're like, "You're gonna shoot him?"
It's like, hey, I'm going to shoot him. I'm going to blow his brains out. Like, oh my God. Which is great foreshadowing.
Oh my God. But because she sees the knife too, and she realizes that they're the ones that have been cutting people on the mountain.
Right.
That she warns Sari about earlier.
She has that great line of, this could have been Yellowstone if you two dipshits who hadn't shaken it.
I could have been Yellowstone. It was for you two shits.
Yes.
She wasn't getting to Yellowstone.
She would never.
No.
Never. She's too trigger happy. That's probably why she couldn't be a cop. She'd be shooting every suspect she saw.
Mm-hmm.
But she...
Not even the suspect.
No.
Just innocent victims.
It's the 80s too?
Yeah.
Well,
not even that. It's like someone walking by because she misfires the whole like fucking film.
Oh my God. This woman's fucking awful.
It's like, who gave you that python? It's like, I bought it. Oh, okay.
I'm going to shoot it.
I'm going to shoot it.
That python gave me a dirty look. But she tells Rat Tail to open the door. She's going to shoot him. And he doesn't know it's a bear. So, and in this moment, I didn't think the bear was going to be there.
Yeah.
I missed it showing up.
I honestly thought it was going to be someone else, too. It was like...
If you watch the door, you know how it's got like the little line for the mail slot thing? The mail slot's the only part that actually gets shaded as the bear moves into frame, like on the outside.
It's one of those Dutch doors. It's got the top half and the bottom half that open independently.
And then there's a window at the top, though. If it was a person, you'd have seen the top of their head.
Right. But also, our first watch, I missed the part where Shorts says there's someone outside.
Yeah.
So he tips them off.
Oh, yeah, because the window was open, wasn't it?
The window by him on the other side of the room was open, but he's looking out the window on the other side of the wall. He says there's someone outside. Liz is like, it's him. Now open the door when I tell you to. And he opens his door, and the bear's just sitting there.
Yeah,
sitting there
it's
like
the
Winnie
most
the Pooh.
adorable, goofy-ass bear. It's like, this bear's been murdering people, and it's like...
It looks like
there.
a Pooh Bear that just ate all the honey.
Yeah.
Like it's just be playing with its belly.
And then he's just like, oh, it's a bow!
Including the blood on its head.
Yeah.
But
it's a bear. And he kind of steps a little too far into the doorway, and Liz closes her eyes
and turns her head.
And when she pulls the trigger, she moves her hands to the right a little bit, blows this kid's fucking brains right out.
It was great.
And all over the bear. The bear literally shakes it off in the next scene.
It also sprays blood all over her.
Yeah.
It gets Shorts. And he's like, he's dead. You killed him. She goes, close the door. I didn't mean to do it.
Never mind that shit.
Close the goddamn door.
And he like moves and is like, I'm sorry, bud.
Yeah, because his hand is in the way.
Yeah.
And now they're having a moment of where'd the bear go, and you can hear it kind of like climbing around the visitor center. Mm-hmm. I forget why he's standing in front of the door in this moment.
Because
is he going to open it again?
No, because so she hears it going up on the roof, and she's like, okay, move away from where he is. She has him move in front of the door because she thinks it's coming down this chimney. Mm-hmm. And then that's why he's in front of the door.
Oh, he's trying to get out of the way of the chimney and not get shot.
Again.
Yeah. So he's standing in front of the door, and his head's right there by the little window. Very Michael Myers-esque. The bear punches through the glass and grabs his face. And we get a hard cut to our drug gang, Eddie and David, with Stash.
Walking through the woods.
They're walking through the woods. They're walking over the top of that little stream, and there's another bit of bad luck for David. They're walking on these rocks. He misses the rock. He steps in the water. Now he's got wet socks.
Mm-hmm. They're also having a bro moment about this, asking 20 questions.
Yes!
It was just like...
It's like, David is so bad at 20 questions. He's not trying to narrow it down.
Well, because he already knows the answer.
Yeah.
We find out later he knows the answer. He's just trying to drag out this game for Eddie's sake. It's also funny that it's irritating Eddie this way, because it's like a kid's game.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, you're not asking the right questions. You're asking just, is it thing. You're supposed to narrow it down. And Stash has what does Stash say? Is it bigger than a bread box?
Yeah.
And he's like, no, he's supposed to ask it. David's like, is it bigger than a bread box? And he goes, yes, it is.
Abraham Lincoln. Like,
yeah,
no.
Abraham Lincoln. No, what? And Eddie and Stash have a really nice bonding moment.
Yeah.
They really do.
I mean,
they do.
They become pretty good friends, I think, throughout
a very short amount of time,
Yeah.
I feel like if Stash hadn't stabbed David, he'd also be a little bit.
That's the thing. He didn't stash David. Well, his friend stabbed David.
Oh, right.
Because Rat Tail stabbed him.
He's like, I didn't stab you. That was them. It's like, well, they're your friends. Like, I didn't stab you.
Wait, before we get to my questions.
Before.
Okay, go ahead.
Hell yeah. Miller Lite.
That's a nice crisp can of wine.
Yeah.
Hey, canned wine's not bad.
I'm about to spit all over the mic.
Don't do that. They're expensive.
That's why I had to choke it back just now.
Bob rolls up to the ranger station. He's got...
Sees that it's closed.
Yeah, it's closed. It does this fun shot from inside the ranger station of Bob reaching into his car, and a bloody hand hits the window, and Bob is oblivious to it. And he's got this big cup, and he's drinking that. He's got this old man face. He's just... And he
You think that's McDonald's Sprite in there?
No, because that looks like a big gulp. Or it could have been like a McDonald's when they had the supersize.
The supersized meat? Oh, didn't he just die?
Oh yeah, that guy died recently too. Mm-hmm. But Bob very, very carefully, he respects nature and he throws that big gulp away. Mm-hmm. And then he takes off down the trail. And at that same moment, this is when our ambulance pulls up with Beth and Tom. Both Erica and I, when we saw Beth, we thought it was Aquafina for a second.
Yeah, from far away, I was like, Aquafina.
When she first gets out of the ambulance and turns around, I thought Aquafina.
So they got Aquafina for this movie? Shit,
Right?
let's go!
And then Tom is a TikToker?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he's the IKEA TikToker.
Yeah.
Who?
IKEA TikToker. The one he's like, do you work here? Like, he does all like the little confrontational things, like the things that they wish they could say to you. He's really funny.
I can send you some later. He's actually really funny.
He is.
Because
He was really good in this. I was surprised.
He's usually the one who's like, excuse me, do you work here? It's like, yes, I do.
No, I just live here.
But I can't
Leave
help
me
you.
alone.
Yeah.
Never
He looks
seen this guy.
exactly the same. He's not wearing any kind of makeup.
Nothing.
No different facial hair.
You could
That's how he looks on
recognize
TikTok.
him. Yeah.
Which he
Okay.
is doing comedy tours and stuff too now.
Yeah,
got
he's a comedian.
He's got a very dry sense of humor.
But he's funny. I've seen some of his stuff. He's funny. They're pushing on the door to try to get it open, and Rat Tail's body is now up against the door, blocking it. He's like, "Come on, Beth, open the door. Come on, push." And they get in, and there's a dead body, and he goes, "They called for an ambulance. This guy's been shot in the head." Liz is behind the counter, even more fucked up.
Yeah.
She's got a big gash on her shoulder now. She's breathing very erratically. Beth goes to check on her.
She's like literally on death's door behind this counter.
When I saw her,
Still got that gun though.
Yeah. When I saw her, I thought her damn left arm was completely gone.
So did he,
Just the
yeah.
way it was angled. I was
Yes.
like, oh my god, her arm is missing and she's still alive.
I thought the same thing.
But like, she's like on death's door, but somehow within the next scene, she finds the energy to be a pain in the ass.
Oh, but wait. This is the one moment that was legitimately kind of scary. When Tom notices the back door, like the storage room. There's a puddle of blood.
Did you notice it's like increasing too? Like it's
more blood has just come pouring out from the door.
Yes.
Oh god.
And he very slowly walks in, opens the door. The broom falls over, and there's Short's body, and his head's been decapitated. And it's in a bucket?
Yeah, it rolls out of the bucket onto his feet. He's like, oh shit.
Yes.
And then the bear comes out the shadows on demon time, and is like, oh god.
That is the one part that was legitimately kind of scary. Because the idea of a bear coming out of the darkness in a small room, terrifying.
Oh, and he was like just very, very gingerly, very quietly, just closes the door.
And in this moment, this is where the music turns into Liz's heartbeat. Because Beth puts on the stethoscope and he's checking her. It's like, your heart's going really fast.
And because she's like,
and it's getting louder and louder and louder. And when Tom closes the door,
she gets the stethoscope finally.
Yeah, that was so stupid. It's like, bear.
But that was so good because all their sound stops.
Yeah.
Like you stop hearing the heartbeat, you don't hear any music, and Beth's like, "What?"
Bam!
And it knocks the door down right on top of Tom, and its claws come over the edge of the door right in Tom's face. It's just drooling on him.
Honestly, the Aquafina stand-in Liz, or not Liz,
Beth,
she's a trooper because
Yes,
she
she
gets
is.
everybody up in that ambulance at the end.
Like, fuck it, we gotta go.
Yeah.
Come on.
She is a good paramedic. She's an awful driver.
Though
yes.
she must not be the driver. There's no way she's the driver.
She got out the driver's side when they got there, and she gets in the driver's side when they leave.
I do not want her as my EMT.
You don't got to worry about that.
But now I'm wondering, like, was she wearing her seatbelt?
Nope.
Oh, she wasn't? Oh, okay.
Which is why.
Yeah.
So when like Erica said, she is a damn good paramedic. She gets Liz off her ass in the ambulance,
Strapped her down.
straps her down. Tom's stuck under the door, and like Sammie mentioned earlier, he's got the red paramedic bag, and he manages to get a hold of it with the bear on top of him on top of the door.
So he's one of two people to get a lick in on this bear.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure he wings it with the bag and he throws it across the room, and the bear sees a red bag and goes for it. So he gets up, and Liz, being shitty, is like, leave him.
Yeah.
Let him die.
Yeah. Tom even tells her, go. And he jumps in the back of the ambulance, and they're getting away. Bear's chewing up the red paramedic bag, and they're like, close the fucking door. Close the door, dumbass. He goes, stop yelling at me. He never gets the fucking door closed.
Well, that's because at one point she's trying to aim and shoot the...
She is waving a gun around. And he's like, put that thing away.
Also, when he grabbed onto the doors and everything, like he's got his hands in the inseams of the doors. He couldn't close one side. So I was just like, my dude,
Yeah, the whole
please
time
stop.
we're watching, Sammy's like, he's going to lose his fingers. He's about to lose his fingers. I'm like...
Because the doors are swinging, and his hands are in the
Like,
door.
the way, the, way the movie's
like,
going so far, I'm like, yeah, that's probably
was like,
absolutely about what happened.
The least of his worries, though, at this point.
This part is so good. The bear is going full speed after him. I don't believe a bear can outrun a van.
So grizzly bears can run up to 40 miles per hour. A black bear can only run 30 miles per hour. So I'm like, this ambulance is going hella slow, or this bear is on
there is something
the
you're not
best
considering.
code.
This bear is wired.
The bear is high on cocaine. That fucking blood is moving. That bear doesn't care about its bone structures. Like,
It's Ethan Hawke at the end of training day on that PCP.
Not feeling anything.
At all.
Just pure adrenaline. It's chasing them. They're trying to close the door. The bear does this amazing leap, and I think it goes into slow motion. And the bear leaps into the back of the ambulance. Liz goes flying out the back.
Poor Margot Martindale.
This was gross.
Yeah.
Like, she falls face first onto concrete, asphalt, and just slides on her face.
Just slides
you see
to a
the
stop.
blood.
Oh, and cheese grater.
Which, at the end of that, she was still alive when everyone left, wasn't she?
No.
She was dying.
Okay.
When the bear walks by in a minute,
Yeah.
she's not moving.
Okay.
So I assumed she was dead.
I thought I was like, it's like, hey, fuck Margot kind of thing. Because I thought she was still alive and that scene was over. I'm like, oh my God, she's still alive.
They just left her there to die.
Yeah.
I don't think she would have made it to the hospital.
See, I think she would have if she had not been slung out the back of the ambulance.
Yeah.
But I was thinking, based on her interactions with the bear, I thought she was going to turn out to be like Danny McBride from Pineapple Express and just keep getting more and more fucked up as the movie went on.
No, because that's David.
That's David.
Yeah, no, David doesn't get it as bad as Danny McBride.
God damn, that poor movie. I love it in the movie. He's just in the Waffle House dead as shit. It's like, hey, I'm alive.
That's how I thought. That's how I thought Liz was gonna be.
Like, oh my god, he's still alive. This man's got holes. His arms halfway hanging off. He's just like, no, we're hanging out.
Burnt up. He's in a neck brace.
He's fucked up. Man.
I feel like had Bev not been looking back constantly, they would have made it.
Probably. Like, hey, driver, focus on the road.
I think if they had gotten those fucking doors closed and she had hit the gas pedal just a little bit, they probably would have gotten away from that coke-fueled bear.
Yeah. It's like, hey, get it out of third gear. Come on, put it in fourth. Let's go.
Yes.
What
So
they should have done was they should have thrown Margot Robbie at it, like in the very beginning.
Margot Robbie?
Not Margot Robbie. What's her name?
Hot damn.
Martindale.
You're right. I was stopped too. I was like, all right. Hey, y'all can have that
Wrong
shit.
Margot, y'all. No,
Liz.
just throw Margot Martindale out the back.
Hell yeah.
Just
Margot
like,
Robbie
here you
in
go,
the
have
sixth
dinner.
hour.
take her.
Margot Robbie would have been great in this movie.
Yeah.
She absolutely would
She would
be.
have been funny.
Make her the mom instead.
You know who else would have been really funny in this movie? John Hamm.
Yes.
I think John Hamm would have been really good in this movie.
John Hamm is ridiculous. Like, he
Yes.
just shows up and it's just like, haha. And it's like, okay, it's John Hamm.
He's foolish as hell. But then the bear slings Tom up between the center seats, and his fucking hand flops off.
Yeah.
It's held on by a single
It's just
thing of skin.
Oh, it's just severed at the wrist.
And they're both
Yeah.
looking at it like, oh shit.
Yeah, they both see it, and then they both scream. Then the bear drags him back, it bites his head, kills him, and then Beth, being the awful driver she is, still looking behind her, doesn't realize she's veered right into a fucking tree. Bam! Hits this tree, and she flies out the windshield. Bear just took out 3 more. And then it just sachets away past Liz's body on the gurney, under the gurney now, in the middle of the road. Back to our drug gang, Eddie, David, and Stash. And this is where Eddie is talking about he doesn't know how to talk to his kid.
Yeah.
And Stash is like, well, my mom made me the man I am today. And he's like, and David's like, oh, what a man you are.
Yeah.
Stabbing people in a bathroom.
It was a great fucking joke.
And he goes, my mom got me a lizard, and I used to practice talking to him. But that's the thing, bud. He's like, lizards are good for,
They're good listeners.
they're good listeners.
But they're not good at hearing you. Or
Yes.
something like that.
And Eddie is in tears at this, and they hug. And David's just in the background like, oh, y'all hugging now.
No, but he's like,
Lizards are good listeners, but people are good for hearing. And Eddie's just like, that's the sweetest thing I've ever heard.
And fucking David,
Yes.
David's just like, oh.
David is so over this shit.
This is also where we get the flashback to him, or the, I guess, flash forward.
Me and my boys
Yeah.
going to New York or
Yeah,
whatever.
him and his buds.
And then it's just one's like his head blown open, another one's holding his hand in his arms.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's the dead versions of them, which he
Yeah.
wouldn't know they're dead.
Yeah.
Which is a
That
bit
was strictly
sad,
for the
though.
audience.
Yeah,
It really
Yeah, he
is.
doesn't find out they're dead. We
Yeah, I
never
don't
see
think-
him find out.
I don't
Yeah.
think he ever found out they were dead. I think he,
I'm
like,
pretty sure he assumed they were dead because there are no more. It's like,
Yeah.
where did they go? Like, they probably got mauled to death by a
A
cocaine addicted bear.
And Bob finds the gazebo first. Mm-hmm. He sits down to have himself a little rest under the gazebo, and he looks up. What's up there? A little red bag with a rainbow handle.
A little red truck with a Christmas tree.
A little red truck with a Christmas tree.
Which I don't know how long he's been driving, but like he goes into the gazebo and then he goes to lay down on one of the benches. And it's like, you got to be fucking tired. They're like, I'm gonna just lay down.
Well, we know St. Louis is about 8 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were in Nashville, Knoxville.
Knoxville, Tennessee.
They were in
That's
Knoxville.
where Stanton was found,
That's
right?
that's where Bob
Andrew.
Andrew was-
Thornton.
Thornton.
Yeah,
Where
so
did I get
it's
Stanton
probably
from?
only maybe 4 or 5 hours.
But either way, like after doing that, like so you're still kind of tired.
Yeah,
But-
Yeah.
so
But, like,
we
he-
know roughly about how long everyone traveled to get to where we are.
Not long for Sorry, because she rode her bike there.
Right. She rode her bicycle. Her kids walked.
Yeah.
The kids walked. And this is where we get a hard cut to a random white car with someone getting a rifle out of the trunk.
Yeah.
And this person is wearing a lot of jewelry.
Who's that Pokemon?
Yeah. Yeah. Who's that Pokemon? It's very obvious.
It's Pikachu.
And now our drug gang meets up with Bob. Mm-hmm. Stash is like, all right, promise not to be mad at me.
It's like, and David's like, I'm already mad at you.
The bag's gone.
Wait, when does Sorry and Henry, they start finding the clues?
Soon.
Okay.
All I
didn't
know is
about
they
that
had
one.
that one little talk where Henry was just talking to her about, like, oh, like, what happens if you do coke, you know, just
Yeah.
in case, you know? And then she's just like,
What if a bear does drugs?
yeah. And
Yeah.
then it's just like, well, then Mama Bear and Papa Bear will be very upset And it's just like,
What if they don't find out?
Yeah, what if they don't find out? Or and then it was like, what if they want to do drugs again? And it was just like, what?
This kid's on drugs because when he we didn't talk about it earlier, but when he took that bump of coke or the mouthful of cocaine, he was like, my throat feels funny.
But that was also a really funny moment too, because she was like, "Do you think my dad's done cocaine?" And Dee Dee looks at him and was like, "Your dad's definitely done
Absolutely
cocaine."
done cocaine.
Your dad's definitely done cocaine. So when they meet Bob at the gazebo,
Bob's great in this
Bob is
scene.
so
Yeah,
fucking
yes.
funny. They're like, look, the bag's not there. They're like, oh, we got to find that bag, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden, Bob pops up on top of the gazebo with the bag in hand. And this is a big gazebo.
Yeah, it's tall. But I
It
say,
is very tall.
like, to get to the edge of the gazebo for, like, just where it begins to actual angle down, I said that it's roughly, like, 12 feet tall.
Like, Blair couldn't reach it with his hands extended. And Blair is a big guy.
Not mentions, like if you could reach it, you'd have to get up somehow.
Yes.
So it's like, there's...
he did talk about that. It's like,
Yes,
how'd you
this-
get up there?
Well,
Yes,
he gets to
this
it
was
later.
great.
Yeah.
This was great. You want to say it?
He's like, how'd you get up there? Well, I climbed that tree, and then I hurt my hip getting up.
I jumped from that tree and it kind of hurt my hip.
And I didn't think
And
about
then
how
it's
to
just
get
like,
down.
how are you gonna get down? I thought he used the picnic table or something
I
weird
was-
like that.
When it showed him on top of that, my first question was, how'd he get up there?
Yeah, that was
And
mine.
then
I'm
the
like-
movie immediately was like, how'd you get up there?
Because, like, listeners, let me understand. Like, Bob is an older, husky fellow. Like,
Yeah.
he's-
And a short guy.
And a short man. Like, for him to be his physical build and age, like, to be on top of this gazebo in the very next scene, like, what? How?
Bob
Yeah.
pulled some shenanigans.
When?
He's a bit shaped like a potato. Like,
Isaiah Whitlock did not serve his many years on law and order for you to call him a potato.
Damn,
Oh my
Erica.
God.
Wow. I was trying to be nice.
Oh,
Terrible.
my God.
He looks like a potato.
She's like, what is he? He's
Potato
round.
head.
yeah.
I mean, he's an older man.
Yeah.
But he's got those old man suspenders.
He's an old 80s detective.
Yeah.
Yes.
From the South.
Yeah, from the South.
From Tennessee.
I know him.
He's so sweet, though.
I know his whole name.
Yeah. I know his full name. C. Thornson. What's the C stand for?
Don't worry about it.
But I like how he pops up. He's like, "Move away from that teenager."
Yeah. Get away from that teenager. That doesn't look like a teenager, though.
yeah, and
That looks like a grown-ass man.
in that scene, I say David already had his gun out and drawn, and then Bob had his gun out and drawn, and it's like,
Because I think David had his gun pointed at Stash.
yeah, because
Yeah.
he's pissed,
Mm-hmm.
understandably pissed, because they just got done like taking a hike through the fucking woods to get here, and it's like it's not here. It's like,
Right.
you motherfucker, yeah.
So he tells him, I'm detective. He goes, put your gun down. And Eddie's like telling David, do it, put your gun down. Come on.
And David's just like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, David is so over the shit. He puts the gun down, and they're doing a little back and forth, and Bob's trying to find a way off the gazebo.
Making such old man
Oh,
noises.
these old man noises are great. Just the whole time.
I also like how he's trying to hold them up while like how the fuck do I get down? The whole
Yeah.
it's like the guy has a gun, even though he put it on the ground. It's still going to take you a while to fucking re-up and aim. I was like, how do I get?
But
Can y'all help me get down from here? It's like,
oh, Eddie says I can catch you. He goes,
Yeah.
No, you get the fuck back.
yeah. He's like, Eddie's just trying to be a good dude.
Eddie is
Look,
just so nonplussed by this whole situation.
I can help you down. Like,
No.
no, get the fuck back.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
fine,
I'll-
geez.
I'll-
Eddie would
Alright.
get crushed though. You thinking about it?
Yeah,
Just like,
it's high
how-
up there.
How are they going to catch this man? They're not going
Right.
to catch this man.
Right. Yeah. So David's like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go for my gun, and he goes for the gun, and instantly Bob shoots his hand, and he shoots off two of his fingers.
His ring and his index.
Which I gotta say,
No, it's his. Oh, you're right. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
thinking the other two.
I
Yeah,
thought it was his
it's-
middle and his pinky. Or no,
No,
it was,
it's these two.
It's his. It's Erica's
Okay.
right. It's his
Yeah,
ring and
okay,
his
okay.
index finger.
yeah.
And Stash has another great line here of, "How did you shoot those fingers? They're not even next to each
Yeah.
other."
Which hot damn. Bob, like I said, going back to what I said earlier, like Bob's a fucking great shot.
Oh,
my
yeah.
God.
Because instead of actually shooting David, like, no, he shot the gun out of his hand, like, fuck, holy shit. And not even like, gun was down, not even prep, like, hey, you bow. Like, man,
He is
you've been hitting the
everything
range,
that
son. He knows that
Liz isn't.
revolver.
And he tells.
that Liz wasn't.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're
He-
right.
he
She's
tells them-
dead.
So David rushes and grabs his gun with his other hand. He's hiding under the gazebo, and he has to take his jersey now and wrap it around his bloody hand.
Yeah.
And he tells
His favorite jersey.
his favorite jersey, and he tells
He's like, Eddie,
No. He tells Eddie and Stash to get on their bellies.
Oh, yeah.
And this is the part where he's like, Eddie, grab my fingers. And Eddie just monotone. Can I grab his fingers? Goes over, picks him up. I'm going to put him in my pocket. Then he just lays down on his belly. I think by this point, we've also already seen that Dee Dee is alive in the cave.
This is the first flash we get of Dee Dee since she was chased
That's the
by the
only
bear.
thing to like, hey, is
Why
Dee Dee
did she
alive?
stay
Like,
in the
okay.
cave?
Well, she was taking care of the coked up baby bears.
I would have left as soon as I was like, you know what? I'm in a cave. You know, one way in, one way out type of thing. I'd have been out. Peace.
But this bear has fast travel unlocked because this bear keeps popping up fucking everywhere.
This bear
is not a real
this
bear,
bear has
though.
Jason Voorhees tech.
Yes! This bear has the tunnels from Among Us unlocked, and it's just zooming in and around this park.
Motherfucker's venting.
You mean the vents?
Dang, what did I say?
The tunnels.
Tunnels, vents.
I mean, it's the same idea.
Yeah. But this bear is everywhere all the time. But right before the cave scene is where we actually get Sari and Henry.
Yeah.
I wrote Peter on my notes. R.I.P. They're walking around, and this is where they have the conversation about what if a bear did drugs?
Yep.
You know, what if mom and dad never found out? And Sari's like, oh, we always find out. And this was kind of funny because there's a rock covered in what looks like blood.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
And Sari's like, oh, Dee Dee, my girl. And she runs up, and it's like, oh, it's just paint on a rock. I was like, it's a fucking rock. How?
It's not just a rock.
But I
It's a
mean,
Dee Dee.
how do you know it's Dee Dee's blood? It's like, especially all the heinous shit going on. You
Well,
saw
he's
like,
like, how do you know it's paint?
Yeah.
She goes, Henry, I'm a nurse.
He's like, oh, yeah, that makes
Probably
sense.
the caking. Like if it dried and all, because she was touching
Yeah,
it. and
yeah,
stuff.
Yeah.
Probably
But-
with the way the texture and the caking was.
Yeah,
so.
probably. But what the part that got me was she thought it was Dee Dee. It's a fucking rock. And then they follow a little trail of paint, and they're like, yeah, the bear, it probably took her up that way. She's leaving a trail of breadcrumbs. Because I think they also found her hat. Now they're finding paint. Later they find her sweater.
Mm-hmm.
Then we get she's alone in this dark cave, and we don't see her for a little while.
Wait,
Blurring
so
his
the
brain.
bear brought Dee Dee there?
That's what it says. Like the bear
Henry
dragged her off.
says later that the bear took her.
Oh,
Yes.
I thought Dee Dee had just ran there. Okay.
No.
I missed that bit.
Well, that's what I was wondering. Like, how the hell did she leave this
That's the only thing I
trail?
can imagine. Like, it's like some
After,
kind of
like,
weird.
oh, the bear took me. I'm just like reaching in my pocket.
reaching in my
Taking
backpack.
It's like some
sweater.
weird maternal
Got
form of the
these
bear. So like
10
as the bear is
different
carrying
things
her
to
by
paint
the
in my
like,
pockets.
back of her shirt, like just dropping breadcrumbs the whole
Well,
way
Dee
there.
Dee is wearing black like a bear.
Mm.
I didn't think about that.
Maybe that's what saved her life.
Maybe. That and there wasn't any cocaine on her.
There was definitely no cocaine on her. In her, yes.
Yeah.
It's like, you smell like bear. Come with me.
The bear arrives at the gazebo at this point. They're still having their little
Yes.
standoff. David's still under the gazebo, so Bob can't see him, and Eddie and Stash are still laying on their bellies. Erica described this as the bear comes over and lays down on top of Eddie, as you described it as it was having a nice little coke nap. Because it just passes out right on top of Eddie. All you can see are his feet sticking out by its hind legs.
Well, that implies like, I need a nice soft spot to take a nap on. Like, wait a minute, this is this nice soft man. Let me just
This man takes care of his mullet.
just
Just fluffy.
just collapse here.
In his baby blue denim outfit.
I did like at one point it was like they identify like, oh, this is a girl bear. Like, how do you know? Its vagina's on my ear. I'm like,
Yeah.
hold up, like
Which makes no sense.
it doesn't. No, because the
Yeah.
bear's like chest is on his ear. Like, wait,
Yeah.
that's a weird line.
Although
Yeah.
the vagina is so. If I know it sounds really weird. So the bear's vagoo basically is about. It looks like it's about where the belly button would be. More
Yeah,
so
but
on
like
the
his
person.
head is where her like breastbone.
I know, but like it was just it was something I was looking at with the CGI and stuff.
Ah.
Like I was like the vagina is really high on this bear for like no reason.
Yeah, and then Sam pointed out like, oh, you could totally see its vagina. I'm like, I don't.
I have not looked
at
at that bear.
I'm not looking that closely.
I think it was just a funny line.
Yeah.
That you shouldn't think about.
just don't think too.
Also,
hard
I don't
on
want to think about bear vagina, but here we are.
Bob's
But
also really great with this bear because he's like
moist.
he.
Stop it.
I'm
like
gonna unplug your microphone.
No.
David's like nobody move, and he's like they're like what? He's like there's a bear. And Bob's like what? There's no bear. And he looks over, and is like oh.
But for like the remainder of this coke nap, all you can hear of Eddie is there's a bear on top of me. He's like, can you breathe? Kinda. Is it alive? Do you feel it breathing? I'm not really sure.
But I
Or
also-
I'm sorry, it's more like I'm not really sure.
I like that Stash is just still laying there.
Yeah, right directly.
Like-
Like, do I move?
He's
Next
almost
to the
doing,
bear.
He's almost doing a Burt Reynolds pose.
Yeah.
Or paint me like one of your French girls. He is relaxed.
Super
Yeah.
comfy next to this murder bear.
To be fair,
Not
he's not
stressed.
the one under the bear,
That's
so
true.
that makes
I
sense.
like
He's like, did you try to move it off of you? And then he's like, oh, I didn't fucking think about that.
Yeah. I like how David and Bob like, hey, can we call a truce real quick so I can help my friend out from under the bear? And Bob's like, yeah.
Yeah, help your friend out.
Extenuating circumstances and all that.
Yeah, you're missing 2 fingers because of me. They're currently under the bear. And Stash, back to his shitty self, like, maybe we should go. He'll be fine. And Eddie, you hear Eddie under the bear. Really?
So I can hear you.
Yeah.
You know,
And
people are good
David-
viewers.
Oh my god. And David in this moment, still in his back pocket, has a big brick of cocaine. And when he's checking this bear to see if it's still breathing, it falls out on the ground. And when that shit hits the ground, the bear's eyes open. It's like the bear knows
When there's cocaine around.
when there's cocaine nearby.
It has a cocaine sense.
Mm-hmm, it sure does. The bear takes this entire brick of cocaine and without ripping it open, swallows the whole thing.
Just throat goats the whole thing.
Yeah.
Fucking cocaine.
Don't say throat goat. Oh my goodness.
Coke goat.
There you go. Cocaine.
But they're like, when it grabs it, they're like, no, let's see what it's gonna do. Because Bob's on top of the gazebo.
Oh, yeah, I like that's such a weird thing to say in a moment. Like, wait, let's just watch the bear, see what it does. Like,
what's gonna happen?
bro, what?
And it
I mean,
swallows.
to be fair, if I saw a bear of cocaine, if I was Bob, I'm pretty much safe from this bear in my mind. So I'd be like,
That's a bold assumption.
Think about how quickly it climbed up that tree.
that's true.
It can
But,
climb the tree and jump onto the
To
gazebo.
be fair, in Erica's defense, Bob didn't know that.
right? So he's like, let's watch the bear. I'm interested to see where this goes.
I mean, good on them. Their first instinct isn't to fucking kill it.
Yeah.
They don't know it's hurt anybody yet. All they know is it's about to be feeling really good in a minute. This is where the bear starts dancing with Eddie.
Yeah, it's really weird. It's like, what is it doing? Eddie's freaking out, but he's like, what is it doing? The bear's just having a grand old time. It's like, what is happening?
Yeah.
And then it goes from a grand old time to like, I fucking hate you, Eddie. Like, please help me.
It starts getting a little too aggressive, and this is where Bob kicks in, and Bob starts banging 2 bricks of coke together. He's like, hey, come on, girl. Over here. Oh, yeah, because this is where they have the line when it's on top of Eddie. They're like, how do we get him off? Her. What? It's a she. How do you know? Because its vagina's on my ear. That's where that line came from. Bob's like, come on, girl, come get it. And he rips one thing of coke open, and he's just sprinkling it down, and the bear's underneath of it just getting higher and higher. This bear has got so much drugs in it.
It's like having a great time.
Yes, and then I think he throws the second brick, and the bear runs off.
David tries to go for the gun again.
Yeah,
David already has his gun,
but
he
it
put
goes
in his pocket.
It becomes a standoff. Like, we got to get the fuck out of here.
Yes.
Like, we need these drugs.
And Bob is telling them to go.
Yeah.
He wants them to get away from the bear. He's trying to save them from the bear. And Stash is like, don't gotta tell me twice. Runs, and he's gone for the remainder of the movie.
Okay, I was wondering where he went.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
he
runs
ran.
off in this moment.
He
We don't
ran.
see him again
He
until
got the fuck out.
until the mid-credits scene.
It's Eddie and David.
Eddie and David.
Eddie is trying his best. Like, we got to go, man. And
Yeah,
David's like, we got to get that coke. And Bob's like, you got to get the fuck out of here. So it leads to some weird tension.
Bob even says that line of, I'm trying to save your life. Because he cares more about them being safe than making a bust right now.
Yeah.
I think Bob's a good cop.
Bob's a great
Yeah, Bob's
cop.
just a
Bob
cool,
is
a
such
good
a
dude in
nice
general.
Bob's a good character. I like Bob. He's a goofy old man, but I like him. They're on the roof. They're having a little standoff. They're each pointing the gun at each other, and you hear a gunshot, and Bob gets shot in the gut.
Which is terrible way.
And even
Terrible.
David's shot like, what the fuck? And Eddie's like, how could you? Like, that wasn't me. I
Yeah,
didn't
David
shoot.
turns back, and he's like, I didn't do it. Boom. Sid is here. He is the one that got the gun out of the trunk of the car that we saw earlier. I think the bear comes back, and so Eddie and David run off, and Bob kicks the bag off the roof, and the bear takes it. And they run into Sid. They have like, where's Gabe? He's at my apartment. He's watching TV. He's like, you left him in St. Louis? And he has that line of, I'm not Daddy Daycare Center.
Do I look like Daddy Daycare?
Sid basically breaks it down like, look, the people I work for want those drugs and the money, and it doesn't matter what excuse I give them that we don't have that money, they're going to take it out on me and my family. That's you and Gabe. So we need to get these drugs.
Which, to be fair, Sid has a point. I was like, they could flee at the moment, but like, if they flee, they have the Colombians after them, which is arguably worse than a coke-rattled bear. So, yeah, like...
Is it though? Is it?
Yes! We just got done watching Equalizer 3 last night. It's pretty good.
But I believe firmly Sid being the piece of shit he is, he's just using that as an excuse to get
that
Eddie
is fair.
to help.
Because later in the movie, it goes to show that's his
he doesn't
character.
give a fuck.
Yeah.
He just figures that's one way I can get Eddie to do what I want.
Right.
So they go back to the gazebo.
Which is a pavilion type structure.
Thank you. Because they have that same remark again. They're like, we have one bag. It's at the pavilion type structure.
Mm-hmm.
Bob's laying there, gut shot.
It's a terrible way to go, by the way.
Terrible.
Holy shit.
Slow, painful.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, where's the bag? And Bob says, I gave it to the bear. You're like, you what? He goes, yeah, I gave it to the bear.
That bear loves cocaine.
Yeah, he has that great line.
And he's like, Sydney White, I've been chasing you for years.
They all have. And this is where Reba shows up.
Out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere. And Bob's like, oh, I got you now. Oh, that's my girl, Reba. I knew I could trust you. And she gets down there and she puts her fucking gun away and she's working with Sid. But they never explain. This is the one twist of the movie that you wouldn't get from the trailer that I mentioned earlier. There's no explanation as to why she's working for Sid. We don't know her motivation for this. They never bring it up.
Yeah, because also, like, why would someone in Knoxville be working for someone in St. Louis?
To be fair, Andrew Thornton was a narcotics investigator before he became a drug runner. So, it just might be slow over there.
Okay.
The influence is great and fast.
I mean, they might just have a large web for their...
Drug running.
Thank you.
Okay.
Another
Cocaine
thing,
makes money.
It's basically how he got all his inside info. Like, I've got somebody in the
Also,
department.
cops don't get paid very well, so she's probably like, I need some money.
Did he say that?
Hmm?
Did Sid say that?
What?
That he's got someone inside the department?
No, I mean,
Oh.
that's explaining, because you remember Sid's like, not Sid, Bob's like, we've been after you, and like, they all are, da-da-da. But it explains like how he's been evading a capture so long. Even though he's
I
such
hadn't
a
thought about
bad
that. That's
drug...
a good point.
Like, think
Very
about
bad.
how bad of a drug dealer he looks like.
Well, this was the one part that I was like, I would have liked some kind of explanation as to why and how Reba is involved.
That would explain how Sid fucking knew about the truck driver calling in the report, because then
That
she
does
calls him
explain
back
that.
and like, hey,
okay.
someone just called and report because dumbass was talking in the damn
That is
bar.
because Bob says it to her before Sid says it to David.
Yeah.
So that checks out.
That's what I'm saying.
That goes with our timeline.
So that would work out well.
This
like,
is putting all of our dots in order. Board with
yeah.
red string.
No, but my favorite
just
line
Charlie
from
Day's.
my favorite line from this
Pepe.
was the one from Bob. It was just like, the department trusts you,
Yeah.
the state of Tennessee trusts you, the United States of America trusted you. I was
Yeah,
like,
that part was great.
I was like, damn,
I
Reba,
trusted
you betrayed everyone.
Like, no,
As he's laying there dying.
yeah, the United States of America.
Oh, but no, this had another good moment for me where he goes, "How's Rosette? Has she been a good girl?" He goes, "Yeah, Bob, she's great. She's in my car." And Sid goes, "You left a dog in the car?"
He's so upset about
And Eddie goes, "You left my son in St. Louis."
Yeah.
So she says something about you weren't supposed to shoot him, and he's like, "I don't work for you." So they leave, and Bob. I presume Bob dies here.
We
because
don't
he
know
kind of-
for sure.
He
Yeah,
doesn't let out
Bob-
some kind of death rattle. He just kind of closes his eyes and he stops moving on the roof, and that's the last time we see him. So I just assumed he died.
Yeah.
And this movie's not above killing all the characters,
Except for the children.
except for the few characters.
It's called plot armor.
Yeah.
I mean, Skyrim rules. You
Bob
can't
didn't
kill
have
the
any
kids.
kind
Jurassic
of armor.
Park rules.
Yeah.
So then it cuts to the kids?
No, now Sari and Henry run into Olaf.
Yeah. Cutting to the kids.
He's scared as shit. It's like the devil bear. The devil bear.
He's just sitting there crying with
She's like,
Elsa's
"Oh."
shirt.
He's like,
Yeah.
her name was Elsa.
She was beautiful.
We're going to have a boy named Texas.
Yeah, and she goes, "The devil bear. I saw the devil bear. It took my daughter. Do you have kids?"
And then Henry's like, do you have any snacks?
Yeah.
No, Henry says to her, doesn't he? He's
No.
like, "You think he has any food?"
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then Henry just starts going through this man's fucking backpack and pulls out these little cracker
These
things.
cornflakes.
Yeah.
These badass kids. Just like, hey,
No, and then
that's not
he
yours.
starts eating
fuck
them
it.
with Henry, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, he takes one. Just one.
yeah,
Very
reaches
slowly and meticulously, he just reaches in the bag and grabs one.
Like, those aren't his.
I wonder,
Right.
I wonder if there's an ad lib moment. It had to be. It was just like, hey, just one. Just like,
Just going to take one of my snacks back.
He's like, I'll show you.
Yeah, and he takes them to the cave, and right before they go in, he's like, "I can't go in there," and they ask him if he has a flashlight, and he just drops all the shit he's in his arms, drops it, reaches into his bag, hands him a flashlight. They head in, and as soon as they get in the cave, they hear him screaming on the outside of the
yeah,
cave.
he's
Yep.
screaming bloody murder. And
Yes.
it's like, oh, he's fucking dead. Let's
Yes,
go.
which explains a question that we had on our first watch because we missed that screaming. Like, why didn't they just go back out the way they came in? Well, the bear used his fast travel point to get right there to the outside of the cave.
So Jason Voorhees up there's like, hello, how you doing?
Sound like Jason Statham for a second.
I know, that was Jason Statham. That was Jason Voorhees.
I'm gonna go in here. I'm gonna kill this bear.
I keep bees.
Gotta protect the hive.
I gotta protect the hive at all costs.
That was such a good movie, though. I
haven't
love
watched it
that.
yet.
What
Oh,
movie?
it's so good.
It's a
Beekeeper.
It's a Jason Statham.
It's from the same people who wrote John Wick. It's
like-
actually a good movie, but
like-
you have to understand it is kind of a goofy, like, one-man army badass.
What's
kind
wrong
of
with
trope.
him? He keeps bees. And it's like, what?
Oh, I don't know if I'm going to see that one.
No, that you
I'll
don't.
show you a trailer later.
It's a fun ride.
So they go in the cave. They find Dee Dee. But before they find Dee Dee, I think this is where they find another duffel bag. But this one's got an extra surprise in it. It's got a little cocaine-covered bear cub.
2.
Yeah, but the one's in the bag.
Oh, yeah.
One's in the bag, the other one's out.
There are 2 of them. They look like Henry makes the remark that they look like polar bears
Yeah,
because they're completely
They're
white.
covered in
I
coke.
immediately thought they looked like the Mogwai, the evil Mogwai from Gremlins.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're coked up little bears. They find Dee Dee hiding. She says they're harmless. Don't worry about them. With Olaf screaming though, they can't get out. And Sari has this thing of like, Henry told me everything. She goes, everything? She goes, yeah, he told me how you guys did drugs. And she says, you told her? She goes, no, he didn't, but I had my suspicion, and you just confirmed it. And she's got this big cut on her leg, and they wrap it, and Henry, like an asshole, reaches out and pokes it. He goes, it looks deep.
That's on point for little punk-ass kids. It's like, oh, wow, does that hurt?
That's on par for little punk ass right here. Erica does that to me.
Damn.
When I got a boo-boo, she's like, hey, does it hurt?
Does it
Just
hurt?
Jab at it.
That's what my mom would do, though. She would be like, hey, does it hurt? And I'm like, yes, mother, it's gushing blood.
You got to get rid of those freaking parent-driven traumas they give you. You got to stop doing that shit to me. It's abuse.
Abuse.
Abuse. So they're making their way to the back of the cave, and we finally see the waterfall.
Yes.
From the back.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is a really good example of not chasing waterfalls. You know?
TLC taught us well.
Yes, like if Dee Dee hadn't been chasing these waterfalls, none of these kids would be in this woods.
Don't go chasing waterfalls there, listener.
Please stick to the rovers and the lakes that you're used to.
This is also the moment where our drug gang show up.
Yeah, not far afterwards.
Yeah.
No. And this is the one...
Flashback.
Yeah, this is the flashback, and this is the one part of the movie that felt kind of out of place for me.
Yeah, because the series of events, it would make more sense to actually have them run across the freshly mauled hiker and then enter the cave versus enter the cave, flashback to the mauling, then get back to the cave. It's like, this is kind of...
Yeah.
It doesn't feel natural.
No, this was jarring to me.
Yeah.
And it was less jarring the second time because we actually heard him scream.
Yeah.
But there's also very bad ADR because it's like the shot is of Sid looking at the cave entrance with the rifle, and you hear David off camera say, "Man, it's like when we find that hiker's body," and then it cuts to them walking, and Reba trips, falls face first into Olaf's body with his face totally ripped out, and Eddie and David simultaneously screaming. Back to the shot of Sid in front of the cave.
Yeah.
It might have been shot later.
Back to the present.
See, I think it was a reshoot, but it also just felt out of place. It's like,
Yeah.
ooh, we forgot to film any kind of explanation of them
Is
finding
Olaf
the body.
dead? It is like, oh shit, we forgot Olaf.
We gotta
Yeah.
we gotta confirm he's dead by showing his body. Maybe like Erica made the comment of maybe test audiences didn't like that, so they had to go back and shoot that little thing and throw it in there.
Yeah.
I feel like they should have thrown it in there before they found
That's
the
what I
cave.
was saying. I said that'd be because there'd be no point of them doing that because like, oh, I'd understand if like, oh, hey, this happened in the middle of the movie and we didn't see it, but now we're going to go back to it to explain it away. Like, no, it literally just happened. You could have just taken that and flipped them, and it would have been fine.
I think one of the reasons they didn't do it though is like right before you see them actually going into the cave to like with Olaf, helping them with the flashlight and stuff. You have a scene of all of them just sort of walking in a line because it was Reba, David, Eddie, and Sid, and then you actually see one of the trees like has one of the bags in it. So they're going after this one bag in this cave that may or may not be there. And then you've got that scene. And then it cuts to them in the cave. But instead of going back to them, they did this weird number thing. Where it's like, okay, we cut back to them, but we cut back to this, and then we cut back to them again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
They needed
it's-
something to break up to...
I think so.
Yeah.
I
It
think that's one
still
of the reasons
feels
they did
really
it.
out of sequence.
It did. That might have just been my autism kicking in. But I didn't.
No.
That was the one thing about the movie I did not like, that one quick little flashback. Cut back to the present.
Yeah, it didn't feel good.
No.
I say so. It wasn't just you, but I was like, because like I said, considering it happened just before they got there, why couldn't they show that, then go back to like the scene itself instead of doing like a weird Family Guy cutaway and come back?
We didn't need that group finding Olaf's body.
Yeah.
They could have just completely removed it from the film.
Yeah, or even mention of it. It's like, oh, it could have been like that the hiker's body, and then it's like, just like you said, forget that whole scene. Just keep moving forward.
Yeah,
we heard him scream bloody murder, and we've seen this bear absolutely destroy people. Like Olaf's dead.
Or it could have just shown them as they walked into the cave, walking past his body.
Yeah, something like that.
You don't need Christopher back. You could have easily just used a dummy, which I'm pretty sure they did when Reba fell.
Yeah.
But it might have been they couldn't get him back to film that scene, maybe. Mm-hmm. Either way, that's the one part about the movie I did not like. But it was nothing against the movie. I still like the movie.
Yeah, that was just one of the few flaws.
Mm-hmm.
But considering the movie's budget and everything involved, like, it's impressive this movie had so few flaws. Like,
I mean, for what this movie's not going to win an Oscar. But
absolutely.
For what this movie is, it's a good movie.
Yeah, it's a solid, entertaining experience for sure.
Yeah, I don't regret watching this movie twice in 2 days. When our drug gang get into the cave, they find that duffel bag. Sid tells Eddie to throw the remaining bricks in it, and Reba's like, look, you got your drugs, I'm leaving. There's a lot more drugs out there. We got to keep going. And she turns to leave, and Sid points the gun at her. Sorry, our dog is being obnoxious. This is the first time Joey's met Sammie and Blair, so she's a little protective right now.
A little on edge.
Yeah. Reba was about to leave. Mm-hmm. Sid points the gun at her, and David and Eddie share a look real quick, and David steps between Sid and Reba. He's like, look, you're not going to shoot this woman. There's no need.
Yeah.
This is getting out of hand. They make their way through the cave. They see the one duffel bag that's hanging just above the rock face they're standing on the backside.
Wait, before that happens, Sari and the kids hear them, and so they're like, "Hey, we gotta hide."
So they're tucked behind a little bit of a little outcropping of rock. Sid's like, "Who the fuck are you?" She's like, "I'm just a mother."
But just spots them immediately.
Yeah. Well, she's wearing a bright pink tracksuit.
Right.
Against a gray rock face. I don't care how dark.
We gotta hide. Like, who are you? Like, oh shit.
Well, we tried. David and Eddie are like, look, Dad, stop. This is getting out of hand. He tells them, get that bag that's hanging above them.
Henry has that great line of when Sid's like, who are you? Henry's like, I'm Henry, and I'm tired. I'm a kid, and I'm so fucking tired. I just want to go home.
Yes.
And I was like, and you're a bad dad.
You got the damn whole
transcript pulled up? It is.
Mm-hmm.
She got the quotes from the movie pulled up.
It's like, hey, you did this. You're the reason this is all happening. It's a good thing he's not like you because you're a piece of crap person. You're a bad dad. Who the fuck are you? I'm Henry and I'm so fucking tired.
Yeah. And Eddie's like, look, I'm not doing this. And he puts the gun down. This is my favorite music cue of the movie. When the bear shows back up on top of the waterfall, it's got this awesome rock beat that kicks in. It's like, we're going into the freaking next round, baby. Because she grabbed that bear from Bob and she tore all that up and she did all that.
Yeah.
So now she is super tweaked. The Cubs are also circling Sid for the bag. And he starts smacking these CGI bears. And I feel bad for these little cartoon characters.
He's like kicking them, hitting them with the gun.
Yeah, you can hear him whining.
Even the
and
kids
shit.
and stuff are getting upset. They're just like, he's hitting the bear.
Yeah. And he tells them to shoot it. He can't get a shot. They're too close. This is where Eddie puts the gun down. And he throws the rifle. He tries to throw it to David, the guy missing fingers. And Sari catches it. And she friggin' pulls the lever back and reloads it. And he goes, I'm taking the fucking kids home.
Which I told Sam, I was like, oh, the rifle was already loaded. All she did was just like lose one round. Just like, it looks badass. Granted, that's true, but it's like, hey, it's already loaded. Like, no.
Well, in her defense, she might not have known it was loaded.
Yeah.
But now she does.
Now she knows it's absolutely loaded.
Exactly.
But I was like, damn, well, there's one less round she can use.
I would believe she killed somebody.
She's a nurse.
Yeah, no, I think
she didn't directly kill somebody.
No, I feel like she's intentionally killed somebody.
Oh no.
Yeah, she has that air about her.
Nurse Ratchet.
Yeah.
So when the bear shows up, this is where Sari and the kids are like, we're gonna jump. They jump off the waterfall down to the water. The bear gets in between Sid and Eddie and David, and Eddie grabs the handgun and he shoots the bear a few times, but he also shoots David in the neck.
Yeah, we're like, oh shit.
This. I think this is the last bad thing to happen to David, though. But he takes a bullet right to the fucking throat.
Well, there was one more bad thing to happen.
It just like grazes his neck.
Yeah.
Yeah, it hits him in the neck, and he and Eddie jump. Sid is trying to get the bag, and these are the strongest bags I've ever seen.
Oh yeah,
they look like those cheap nylon bags.
Yeah, the bag's made out of nylon, and like it's nylon cord, but it's able to hold his whole body weight.
A full-grown Ray Liotta,
and with a bear grabbing onto him and pulling down on him.
And also the little branch it's stuck onto is strong as hell too, because that's not breaking.
Yeah, they don't make it like these anymore.
It's an 80s bag.
The whole time I was watching this, I was just like, okay, we're getting that Tarzan death up in here.
Oh,
For
yeah.
real. But no, it's worse than that.
He has arguably the worst death in this movie.
Yeah.
Gorillas.
Stop it.
But it slashes his belly open and his guts come out and he falls on the ground and the bear cubs disembowel him.
While he's still alive.
Yeah, he's just kind of watching these bears pull his intestines out.
Sausage.
Yeah. And then the bears just kick his body off the waterfall. Like, get the fuck out of here. But give us that bag.
Oh, you forgot the part where, like, he shoots the piss out of the mama bear with a gun, and then she falls dramatically down the falls on her back.
And
then all of a sudden she gets, like, a weird Super Saiyan moment when the cocaine falls on her, and she's like...
Yeah, a bag... When I totally forgot about that. When Sid is trying to get the bag down, a brick falls out. It hits a rock and busts open. And just a cloud of cocaine falls on Mama Bear, and she
revives all badass like a damn Super Saiyan. It's like
spits out the bullet on her way up.
That was so badass.
Yeah,
literally comes up, like, Pih. I'm like, did that bear just spit out the fucking bullet?
She is a bad bitch.
God damn, that bear is fucking.
I even have both those written down in my notes, and I overlooked both of them.
Yeah.
But, like, the part where Sid's getting eaten by the bear cubs.
Oh, that was horrendous.
It reminded me of that scene of Rick and Morty when the kids disembowel the Lucky Charms.
Oh my god, yeah.
And they, like, get the marshmallow.
out of him?
So he was like, he ate the cereal, and then he was just like, the kid, I'm done with the food, kids. Like, y'all can't have it now. And the kids are just like, bet.
Don't they tie him to a stump?
Yes.
And they disembowel him? So now with our secondary villain out of the film, Eddie is dragging David to the shore. And he's like, no, you're more than a drug dealer, Eddie. I didn't mean that when I said it earlier in the movie. And those people forgot to talk about it on the podcast.
Friend.
You're my best friend. And
David's just sitting there dying and is like, oh, damn it.
I got one more question, right? It's 20 questions. Mm-hmm. He goes, yeah, David, you got one more. He goes, is it Joni? He's like, yeah, it's Joni. He goes, I knew it was Joni.
You're obvious as fuck.
Yeah, I just didn't want to guess too early and make you sad.
But David just genuinely having the worst day of his life and just being a good dude all around.
Yeah, he's just trying to take care of his friend, but he's also trying to do his job. But at the end, he chooses his friend.
Yeah, and then for a second, I thought when there was that ripple, I thought it was going to be the bear that popped up in that water.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
It was like, it's the mob.
The bear's not done yet.
It had that really badass moment of like a Lion King roar on top of the rocks with his cubs, and it just comes out the water like, I ain't heard no bell, bitch.
Yes.
But no.
Or that moment from Black Panther. As you can see,
yeah.
I'm still alive.
And then, it's sorry. Like the fucking fish man, like, I'm a nurse!
Yes,
No, that was Henry. She's a nurse.
Oh, no, you're right. That was Henry.
She's a nurse.
Just comes out of the water and is like, she's a nurse! From across.
She comes up like the creature from the Black Lagoon in her pink tracksuit.
Don't be talking about Carrie Russell that way. She's beautiful.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, no, she is. He's right.
No, she's beautiful.
Yeah.
Can't confirm. Most of the people in this movie, pretty people. So we cut to the next morning. They're all back at the
Ranger Station.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I keep wanting to call it the visitor center.
Kind of what it is.
Yeah.
You gotta save money somewhere. Ranger Station, visitor center.
Either way, it's right.
Yeah.
And Reba is there, and the dog is still in the car. And she lets Rosette out, and the dog immediately goes to Eddie. She tells him, she's a good dog and all this, and
she hates fetch.
She hates fetch. I missed that line. Mm-hmm. So it's Eddie's dog
She's
now.
a lady, of course she hates fetch.
Exactly.
He puts Rosette in the car, and David's like, "Whose dog is this?" He goes, "It's my dog now." And he goes, "Is it on cocaine?"
Yeah.
David's gonna think every animal is on cocaine.
Well,
at this
I
point.
like the post credit scene.
No, wait.
Okay.
Before that though.
Yeah.
When he says no, it's not on cocaine, David immediately is like, "Oh, good dog, good dog." Now talking about.
But yeah, like one of the post-credit scenes where we have Stash, who has now like left the area together, is trying to get to New York City, and it's like, oh, okay, he has one of the bags. Of
the
cocaine,
last bag we see,
that final bag of cocaine, and finally some guy decides to pick him up with a truck full of sheep, and he puts the bag in the back of the truck with the sheep, and immediately gets in the truck and thinks on it, gets out of the truck. Grabs the bag and is looking at the damn sheep like, don't you, I've had enough.
Yep.
No more cocaine, anything.
Cocaine.
You know what that made me
Yeah.
think of? That movie we were talking about when we were texting Black Sheep.
It's so funny, but it's so bad. oh
Sammy
my gosh.
mentioned that in our text when we were playing.
Oh
this.
no!
Yeah.
It's so fun.
And when I saw the sheep at the end with the Coke, I was like, oh, Sammy mentioned a sheep movie.
Yeah, Sam was
was
telling me about
bad.
Black Sheep. Like, that sounds like a better version of like zombie beavers. And she's like, "What's that?" Like, don't. No one needs to see zombie beavers. That
No.
movie should not exist.
No. And then Sari and the kids are walking down the street with her bike, and they're walking past the ambulance crash site.
Yeah, she's like,
When they
she's like,
walk past fucking Marco,
She's like,
and they're just like, "Don't worry about it. Just walk past it."
she's
It's
like,
fine."
get over here.
Henry, get on this side of the road. Let's look. He goes, I want to look, but I don't. Also, Henry had a really good line earlier.
Yeah,
when Peter falls out of the tree and when Peter dies, he goes, "That's the kind of thing I'd like to forget."
Oh yeah,
That's the kind of thing that stays with a man forever.
you try to forget it, but you can't.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck, man.
He's gonna need some intense therapy after this.
Oh, they all are.
But yeah,
All of them.
But
except for maybe
as-
Dee Dee. She's still like the least.
Dee Dee missed most.
Yeah, she-
all of it. She missed all the
She's in,
cars.
the
she's in the
least
cave with the
traumatized
little
of us.
cubs.
She didn't see any of it.
Yeah.
No,
She
but
got
I
chased by a bear.
But then
I
like,
like
with the-
this little conversation that happens right before this, like where Dee Dee and Henry are talking to each other, and then they're talking to Sorry too, and they're just like, "Oh yeah, we're cokeheads now. We about that life. Da, da, da. We got that bite or whatever." And then she's like, "You're too grounded for rehab," you know.
I
And
missed
was
all
just
that.
like, it's cute. It
But
was
but
so-
I like as they're walking away and they walk past the now dead Liz. But they walk all the way around her corpse. The police show up. One stops over there next to the ambulance and everything, and then one comes on the road, doesn't stop or ask nothing
No
about what's going on.
questions.
Blows right by him. We're like, Jesus Christ, okay.
And I think we get two post-credit scenes.
Mm-hmm.
One was the last one that Blair mentioned with Stash getting in the sheep truck. The other one, which is the one I thought you were going to mention,
No.
was Eddie gets home to Gabe and he shows him the dog.
And Gabe's just happy. He's like, "Oh, Dad, it's so good to see you."
Is this our
Abandoned
dog? He goes,
child.
yeah, it's your dog. And
Because at this point, Gabe's probably been home for about 20 hours by himself.
Yeah.
by himself
Yeah.
watching cartoons
well, he's like what 9, 10
ish.
ish.
He's close to the same age as Dee Dee and Henry, but
They got Tostino's pizza rolls at the end, don't they?
maybe
Shut up.
I mean,
they can make a sandwich.
yeah.
Hopefully.
They got bologna.
Cereal.
Definitely.
It's the 80s. There's definitely some corn syrup somewhere.
So earlier in the movie, after Bob dies, Eddie gave David his jacket, which had had David's fingers in it. And when they get back to Gabe and give the dog to Gabe, they're like, "What's she chewing on?" And Eddie's like reaching in his pocket. They weren't gonna put him back on.
Yeah, like David is just like, it's whatever. I don't. At this
Yeah.
point, I don't care.
Yeah,
Like, the dog could eat my fingers. Fuck it. Who cares?
the dog. Fuck it.
The man's had like the worst shit happen to him, and he's just like, yeah, it'd be like that sometimes.
He's like that giraffe in that Richard Pryor joke. He's like, "Fuck it, I'm alive."
There you go.
So that's Cocaine Bear.
Yeah.
What'd you guys think?
It's a fantastic movie.
Talented. I was
I'll see.
pleasantly surprised at how much I like this movie.
It was funny.
Yeah, I thought it was
Was
a
it-
goofy, funny comedy.
They knew what they were making. It was a good time. Like, okay, that's why I was like, oh, this is based off of true events.
Very loosely.
Because like this happened in history, yes, but it's like, hey, what if we took this and just fucking ran with it?
What if the bear didn't die?
What if he actually became the most dangerous predator on the planet while he was alive? And then the cool thing was, the end credits, like, oh, the bear's still alive and it's having good cocaine times, but it's children. It's like, why is the bear staring at us so angrily?
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like you were watching through the lens of a camera. Some couple, Rob and Carol.
But they're so happy, like, oh, look at the bears! Ah,
I tried to look up to see if that was another real couple, but I
Yeah.
couldn't find anything in the little search I did. But yeah, this was a good movie. I liked it. I definitely, like I said, I don't regret watching this.
No.
I think if it was longer than 90 minutes, it would have been too much.
yeah.
It was good for what it was.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And the runtime was just perfect. So at the end of every episode, we do a little thing where I ask everyone what they think the ticket price would have cost
In 2023?
for the year of the movie. So do you guys want to guess at what it would have cost to go to see this movie last year?
We still doing counterclockwise?
Use whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to guess $13.25.
1750.
Hell, I was going to say like $25, but that's just above me. So I was like, yeah, probably I'd wager like $8, $9.
Blair is the closest without going over. It was $10.78.
Hey!
What is this, like a matinee?
Yeah, I was like, that's gotta be matinee, because if you try to go
I mean, it's
Sand
cocaine.
Hill,
I just spent $23 for 2 tickets for a movie that we're seeing this weekend.
At 3 p.m. Matinee!
I stand by what I said. So, but good movie. If you haven't seen it, Cocaine Bear from 2023, directed by Elizabeth Banks. Definitely
Great
worth a
movie.
watch.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely worth a watch, especially if you
I would
enjoy
say-
any form of comedy.
Yes, this is much more of a comedy than a horror film.
Absolutely.
Definitely one of the best movies we've watched so far.
It's
Better than Ever Been Kissed.
everything is better. Than
everything is
Never Been
better
Kissed.
than Never Been Kissed.
Oh my god! So our next episode, we're gonna be talking about the Grand Budapest Hotel.
My pick.
So until then, we've been getting to the theater, and I'm Adam.
I'm Erica.
I'm Blair.
I'm Sammie.
Thanks for joining us. Bye.
Toodaloo.